Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Modernized English translation. Book 1. Whenever you want to cheer yourself up, think about the good qualities of the people in your life. One person's work ethic, another's humility, someone else's generosity. Nothing lifts your spirits like remembering the examples of excellence around you, especially when you see them all at once. Keep these qualities ready in your mind. Meditation 1. From my grandfather Verus, I learned to be gentle and calm, and to control my anger and passion. From the reputation of my father, I learned modesty and manliness. From my mother, I learned to be devout and generous, and to avoid not only doing evil, but even thinking it. I learned to live simply and reject the excesses that come with wealth. From my great-grandfather, I learned to value education, to hire excellent teachers, and not to resent the expense. Meditation 2. From my first teacher, I learned not to take sides in the chariot races, not to favor the greens or the blues, not to favor gladiators who fight with small shields versus those with larger ones. To endure hard work, not to need much, to do my own work rather than delegating everything, not to meddle in too many things, not to believe every rumor I hear. Meditation 3. From Diognetus, I learned not to waste time on trivial pursuits, not to believe fortune-tellers, magicians, and charlatans who claim powers over spirits and demons, not to keep fighting quails or get obsessed with such hobbies, to tolerate free speech, to commit myself to philosophy. Through him, I first studied under Bacchius, then Tandarces and Marcianus. I wrote philosophical dialogues as a young man. I embraced the simple life of a philosopher, plain couch, animal skins for bedding, and everything else that comes with Greek philosophical discipline. Meditation 4. From Rusticus, I learned that my character needed work and discipline. Not to get sidetracked into sophistry, writing treatises on abstract theories, giving motivational speeches, showing off as either an ascetic or a philanthropist. To avoid rhetoric, poetry, and fancy language. Not to wear my formal robes around the house or do other pretentious things. To write letters simply and directly, like the one he wrote to my mother from Sinusa. To be quick to reconcile with people who have wronged or offended me, as soon as they're willing to make peace. To read carefully and not settle for a superficial understanding, not to agree too quickly with smooth talkers. Through him, I discovered Epictetus's discourses, which he shared from his own library. Meditation 5. From Apollonius, I learned true freedom and steady purpose, to focus on nothing except reason, always and consistently. To remain unchanged, whether in terrible pain, or after losing a child, or during chronic illness. His example showed me it's possible to be both intense and relaxed, not to get frustrated when teaching, that someone could clearly possess profound knowledge and skill in communicating philosophical principles, yet consider this their least important quality. From him, I learned how to accept favors from friends without feeling either diminished or ungrateful. Meditation 6. From Sextus, I learned kindness and the example of a family led with genuine affection. To understand what living according to nature really means, to be dignified without pretending, to pay attention to my friends' needs, to tolerate less educated people without talking down to them with philosophical arguments. His company was more pleasant than any flatterer's, yet also commanded great respect. He had a gift for articulating life's necessary principles clearly and methodically. He never showed even a hint of anger or any other passion, combining perfect calm with deep compassion. He was highly respected, but never sought attention, deeply learned, but never showing off. Meditation 7. From Alexander, the grammarian, I learned not to be a pedant, not to correct people harshly when they make mistakes in pronunciation, grammar, or word choice. Instead, to use the correct form naturally in my response, as an answer, confirmation, or joint exploration of the subject, without making an issue of the error itself. Meditation 8. From Fronto, I learned to recognize the envy, deceit, and hypocrisy inherent in tyranny. That those called the well-born tend to lack basic human warmth. Meditation 9. From Alexander, the Platonist, I learned not to say or write, "I'm too busy," unless absolutely necessary. Not to constantly use pressing business as an excuse to avoid my duties toward friends and family. Meditation 10. From Catullus, I learn not to dismiss a friend's criticism, even if it seems unfair, to work to restore him to his usual goodwill. To speak well of my teachers at every opportunity, as is told of Domitius and Athenodotus. To love my children genuinely. Meditation 11. From my brother Severus, I learned to love my family. Through him I came to know Thracia, Helvidius, Cato, Dio, and Brutus. He taught me to envision a society governed by equal law, where freedom of speech prevails, and a monarchy devoted entirely to the welfare of its subjects. From him I learned to pursue philosophy consistently and intensely, to be as generous as possible, to always hope for the best and trust that my friends love me. He was completely open with those he criticized, so his friends never had to guess what he thought. He was that transparent. Meditation 12. From Claudius Maximus, I learned self-control in all circumstances, not to be swept away by events. To stay cheerful and calm during crises, illness, pain, whatever comes. To be gentle, steady, and serious, to do every task thoroughly without complaining. Everyone believed that he spoke his genuine thoughts and acted from good intentions. He never seemed surprised by anything, never rushed, but never slow, never at a loss, never dejected, never tense, never laughed excessively, never got angry or suspicious. Always ready to help, to forgive, to tell the truth. He seemed naturally upright rather than someone who had to work at virtue. No one ever felt looked down on by him, and no one could honestly claim superiority to him. He had a good sense of humor, too. Meditation 13. In my adoptive father, I observed true gentleness, unwavering commitment to decisions made after thorough investigation, complete indifference to superficial honors, hard work and persistence, always willing to hear anyone with useful ideas for the common good. His unfailing commitment to give each person their due, his wisdom about when to be strict and when flexible. How he stopped inappropriate relationships with young men, how he treated people as equals, never demanding they attend him at meals or on journeys. When business prevented something from being completed, whoever returned found him unchanged. His thorough examination of issues in council, his patience in hearing others out, never satisfied with first impressions. His loyalty to friends, never cold, never obsessive. His self-sufficiency and good cheer. His ability to plan far ahead while attending to details without anxiety. How he shut down flattery. His careful management of the empire's resources and tolerance of criticism for his fiscal discipline. No superstition about the gods, no pandering to popular opinion, moderation in everything, respect for what's appropriate, no chasing after novelty. He used the comforts his position provided without arrogance or apology. He enjoyed them when available and didn't miss them when they weren't. No one could call him fake, foolish, or pedantic. People saw him as mature, complete, beyond flattery, capable of governing himself and others. His deep respect for true philosophers, though without criticizing those who weren't. His social grace and charm, engaging without being tiresome. Reasonable care for his health, not desperate to live long, not obsessed with appearance, but not neglectful either. Through self-care, he rarely needed medicine. His ready deference to people with specialized knowledge in oratory, law, or custom. He actively helped them gain recognition. He followed tradition carefully, without making a show of it. He wasn't restless or scattered. He valued consistency in places and routines. After severe headaches, he'd return fresh to his work. He kept few secrets, and only about public matters. Prudent and moderate in sponsoring public games, construction projects, and distributions. Focused on what was right, not on the glory. He didn't bathe at odd hours. He wasn't obsessed with building. He didn't care about food, the quality or color of his clothes, or physical beauty. In everything he avoided cruelty, rigidity, and rudeness. He was never rushed or intense. He did everything calmly, methodically, deliberately, coherently. You could apply to him what was said of Socrates. He knew both how to enjoy and how to abstain from pleasures that defeat most people. To stay strong and steady in both abundance and scarcity. That's the mark of a perfect and invincible soul, as he proved during Maximus's illness. Meditation 14. From the gods I received good grandparents, good parents, a good sister, good teachers, good household staff, loving relatives, almost everyone in my life. That despite my temperament, I never seriously wronged any of them through rash impulse. The gods prevented the circumstances that would have tested me that way. That I wasn't raised long by my father's concubine. That I kept my sexual innocence. That I didn't try to grow up too early and even delayed maturity longer than necessary. That I lived under my adoptive father, who stripped away my pride and taught me that you can be a prince without guards, luxurious robes, torches, statues, and similar displays. That you can live almost like a private citizen while still fulfilling public duties that require authority. That I had a brother whose character challenged me to improve myself, and whose respect and love delighted me. That my children were born healthy, without deformities. That I wasn't talented enough at rhetoric, poetry, and other studies to waste my life on them. That I promoted those who raised me as soon as they were ready, not making them wait. That I came to know Apollonius, Rusticus, and Maximus. That I've had clear and repeated insights into what living according to nature means. That the gods gave me everything necessary to live that way already. If I haven't, it's only because I haven't followed their guidance and my own inner voice. That my body has held up this long. That I never got involved with Benedicta or Theodotus, and that later love affairs didn't last. That though I often got angry with Rusticus, I never did anything I'd regret. That my mother, though destined to die young, spent her final years with me. That whenever I wanted to help someone in need, I was never told there wasn't money available, and that I never needed the same help from others. That I have a wife who is loyal, loving, and genuine. That I had capable people to raise my children. That through dreams I received help for various ailments, stopping nosebleeds, curing dizziness, and that incident at Caeta, like what happened to Chryses praying by the sea. When I first committed to philosophy, I didn't fall into the hands of sophists or waste time reading endless volumes, working through logical puzzles, or studying celestial phenomena. All this required help from the gods and fortune. Meditation 15. Written among the Quadi at Granua. Each morning tell yourself, today I will encounter the meddlesome, the ungrateful, the arrogant, the deceitful, the envious, and the unsociable. They suffer from these failings because they don't understand good and evil. But I understand that only virtue is good and only vice is evil. I understand that the wrongdoer is my relative, not by blood, but by sharing the same reason and spark of the divine. So none of them can harm me because they can't force me into wrongdoing. I can't be angry at my relative or hate him. We are born to work together like feet, hands, and eyelids, like the upper and lower rows of teeth. To work against each other is unnatural. And resentment and rejection are opposition. Meditation 16. Whatever I am consists of three things: body, breath, and mind. As for the body, it's flesh, blood, bones, and skin, woven nerves, veins, and arteries. Nothing more worth noting than that. As for breath, it's air, not even constant air. Every moment it's expelled and drawn in again. Third is the ruling mind. Think of it this way: you're old now. Don't let this part become enslaved. Don't let selfish impulses jerk it around like a puppet. Don't let it resent the present or fear the future. Meditation 17. What comes from the gods clearly depends on providence. What seems to come from chance also flows from nature, from the original linking and weaving together of all things governed by providence. Everything flows from that source. Add to this necessity and the good of the whole universe, of which you are a part. What benefits the whole must be good for each part. The universe is sustained by transformation, the elements constantly converting into each other, and compounds breaking down and reforming. Let this be enough. These should be your core principles. Stop thirsting for books. Don't die complaining, but peaceful, satisfied, and genuinely grateful to the gods. Book 2. Meditation 1. Remember how long you've been putting these things off, how many times the gods have given you another day, another chance, and you've ignored it. It's time to understand the true nature of the universe you're part of, and the nature of the power that governs it, the source from which you flow like water from a spring. You have a limited time. If you don't use it to clear away the confusion in your mind, it will be gone. You'll be gone, and the opportunity won't come again. Meditation 2. Make it your constant practice, as a Roman, as a human being, to do what's in front of you with complete sincerity, genuine affection, freedom, and justice. Free your mind from all other concerns. You can do this if you treat every action as if it were your last, free from randomness, from emotional resistance to reason, from pretense, from self-absorption, from complaining about your fate. You see how few things you need to master to live a smooth and God-fearing life. The gods ask nothing more of anyone who can maintain these practices. Meditation 3. Go ahead, soul, abuse and dishonor yourself. Soon enough your chance for self-respect will be over. Everyone's happiness depends on themselves. But look, your life is nearly over, and you still haven't given yourself that respect. You're still making your happiness dependent on other people's souls and opinions. Meditation 4. Why let external events distract you so much? Give yourself time to learn something worthwhile. Stop drifting. But guard against another kind of drift. People who exhaust themselves in life with no clear purpose to aim their actions and impulses toward. Meditation 5. You'll rarely be unhappy if you don't worry about what's going on in other people's minds. But those who don't pay attention to the movements of their own minds are necessarily unhappy. Meditation 6. Always keep this in mind. What is the nature of the whole universe? What is my nature? How do they relate? What kind of part am I of what kind of whole? Remember that no one can stop you from doing and saying what's consistent with the nature you're part of. Meditation 7. Theophrastus speaks philosophically when he compares sins and says that sins committed from desire are worse than sins committed from anger. The angry person seems to turn away from reason with a kind of pain and inattention. But the person driven by desire, overcome by pleasure, reveals a more undisciplined and unmanly character in the very act of sinning. He's right to say that the sin committed with pleasure deserves more blame than the sin committed with pain. The first is more like someone who was wronged first and driven to anger by pain. The second chose that action on his own. Meditation 8. Do and plan everything as if you might die at any moment. If gods exist, leaving human company isn't frightening. They won't let anything bad happen to you. But if gods don't exist or don't care about human affairs, why would I want to live in a universe without gods or providence? But gods do exist. They do care about the world. They've put it entirely in our power to avoid what's truly bad, vice and evil. If anything else were truly evil, they would have given us the power to avoid that too. How could something that doesn't make a person worse harm their life? The universe's nature couldn't have overlooked this through ignorance or known about it, but lacked the power to prevent or correct it. She couldn't have made such a massive mistake, through weakness or incompetence, as to let good and bad things happen indiscriminately to good and bad people alike. Death and life, honor and disgrace, pain and pleasure, wealth and poverty, these all happen to good and bad people equally. They're neither noble nor shameful, therefore they're neither good nor bad. Meditation 9. Consider how quickly everything vanishes. Bodies into the universe's matter, their memory into time. Consider the nature of all physical things, especially those that attract with pleasure, frighten with pain, or are valued for prestige. How cheap they are, how contemptible, corrupt, and temporary. Meditation 10. A thinking person should consider what people really are, the people whose opinions and voices create reputation. And what death is. Look at it by itself, stripped of the imagery our minds attach to it. You'll see it's nothing but a natural process. Anyone who fears a natural process is a child. Death isn't just natural, it serves nature. Meditation 11. Consider how the human mind connects to God, through what part, and how that part is affected when it's said to be diffused throughout all things. Nothing is more pathetic than someone who rushes around in circles, investigating the depths of the earth, trying to read other people's minds, yet unaware that all they need is to focus on the spirit within themselves and serve it genuinely. That service means keeping yourself pure from passion and carelessness, free from complaints about what comes from gods or humans. What comes from the gods deserves reverence for its excellence. What comes from humans deserves affection because they're our relatives, and sometimes pity too, because they're ignorant of good and evil, a blindness as complete as not being able to tell white from black. Meditation 12. You could live 3,000 years or 10 times that. But remember, no one loses any life other than the one they're living now, and no one lives any life other than the one they're losing at every moment. The longest and shortest lives come to the same thing. The present is equal for everyone. What we lose is equal, a mere instant. You can't lose the past or the future. How could you lose what you don't have? Remember two things. Second, when anyone dies, the longest lived and the earliest to die, they lose the same thing. Only the present can be taken from you, since that's all you have. You can't lose what you don't have. Meditation 13. Remember what Monimus the cynic said. Everything is just opinion. The truth in that is obvious. So is its usefulness if you take what's valuable from it and leave the rest. Meditation 14. The soul harms itself, first and foremost. When it becomes, as much as it can, a separate growth, a tumor on the universe. To resent anything that happens is to separate yourself from nature, which includes all particular things. Second, when it turns away from another person or moves against them, intending harm, as angry people do. Third, when it's overcome by pleasure or pain. Fourth, when it plays a role and does or says anything false and dishonest. Fifth, when it aims its action or impulse at no target, doing anything randomly and without thought, when even small things should be done with reference to the goal. And the goal of rational beings is to follow the reason and law of the most ancient of communities, the universe. Meditation 15. Human life, brief duration, substance in flux, perception dim, body rotting, soul restless, fortune unpredictable, fame uncertain. In short, the body and all its parts flow like a river. The soul is dreams and delusion. Life is war and a journey far from home. Posthumous reputation is oblivion. What can guide us through? Only philosophy. Philosophy means keeping the spirit inside you undamaged and undefiled, stronger than pleasure and pain, not acting randomly or dishonestly or with pretense, not dependent on others doing or not doing anything, accepting what happens and what's allotted to you as coming from the same source you came from. And above all, waiting for death cheerfully, as nothing but the dissolving of the elements each living thing is made of. If the elements themselves aren't harmed by their constant transformation into each other, why should we fear our own transformation and dissolution? It's natural, and nothing natural is evil. Book 3. Meditation 1. You must consider not only that your life is fading day by day and less of it remains, but this too. If you live longer, there's no guarantee your mind will still be capable of understanding and contemplating what contributes to knowledge of the divine and human. If you begin to lose your faculties, your respiration, nutrition, imagination, and desire will continue. You won't lose those. But your ability to make proper use of yourself, to accurately distinguish what's right and just, to analyze your perceptions and impressions, even to assess whether it's time to leave life, for all such things that require the mind at its sharpest, your power will already be gone. You must hurry then, not just because you're closer to death every day, but because your understanding of things and your ability to think clearly may fade before you die. Meditation 2. You should also observe that even incidental things in natural processes have a certain beauty and appeal. When bread bakes, cracks appear on the surface. These fissures, though not intended by the baker's craft, catch the eye and somehow stimulate the appetite. Figs are considered most beautiful when they're starting to wrinkle. Olives are at their most attractive just before they rot, drooping grape clusters, a lion's fierce brow, foam dripping from a wild boar's mouth. Many other things, if you look at them in isolation, are far from beautiful, yet because they're natural consequences, they add beauty and appeal. So if you study the world with deep understanding and insight, there's almost nothing, even among mere side effects and byproducts, that won't seem in some way pleasing. You'll look at the gaping jaws of actual predators with as much pleasure as paintings and sculptures of them. You'll be able to see the distinctive beauty and ripeness of old age in men and women, You'll see beauty in children with eyes of wisdom and restraint. Many such things will reveal themselves, not to everyone, but only to those genuinely familiar with nature and its works. Meditation 3. Hippocrates cured many illnesses, then fell ill himself and died. The Chaldean astrologers predicted many deaths, then were themselves overtaken by fate. Alexander, Pompey, and Julius Caesar destroyed so many cities and cut down so many thousands of cavalry and infantry in battle, yet they too eventually had to leave life. Heraclitus wrote extensively about the world's final conflagration, then died with his insides full of water and his body covered in mud. Lice killed Democritus. Socrates was killed by a different kind of vermin, wicked men. What does it matter? You've boarded the ship, you've sailed, you've reached shore. Step off. If it's to another life, the gods are there too, they're everywhere. If consciousness ends entirely, you'll no longer be subject to pain or pleasure, or enslaved to this vessel, so much baser than what serves it, for one is rational spirit, and the other merely dirt and blood. Meditation 4. Don't waste what's left of your life thinking about other people, unless it contributes to the common good. You're just distracting yourself from more important work. Don't spend time imagining, what is so-and-so doing? Why? What are they saying? What are they thinking? What are they scheming? All the things that make you lose track of your own rational guidance. In your train of thought, eliminate everything random and unnecessary, especially gossip and malice. Get used to thinking only thoughts you could honestly answer if someone suddenly asked, "What are you thinking about right now?" You could say immediately and frankly, "This or that," making it clear that everything in you is simple and kind, that you're a being made for community with no interest in pleasure or indulgent fantasies, free from rivalry, envy, and suspicion, or anything else you'd be ashamed to admit you were thinking. Someone like this, who no longer postpones being among the best, is a kind of priest and servant of the gods, making proper use of the divinity planted within him. This keeps him unstained by pleasure, invulnerable to pain, untouched by any wrongdoing, unconscious of evil. A competitor in the greatest contest of all, not to be overwhelmed by any emotion, deeply committed to justice, welcoming with his whole heart whatever happens and whatever he's assigned. Rarely, and only when the common good demands it, does he concern himself with what others say or do or think. His work is limited to what's in his power, what's truly his own. He thinks constantly about his assigned portion of the whole fabric of existence, making sure his work is good and convinced that his fate is good. The lot assigned to each of us goes where it must and carries others along with it. He remembers that all rational things are related, that caring for all human beings is part of being human, and he remembers that he shouldn't value everyone's opinion, only the opinions of those who live according to nature. As for those who don't, he remembers what they're like at home and abroad, day and night, what kind of people they are, what kind of people they spend time with. He knows what their praise is worth, people who can't even approve of themselves. Meditation 5. Don't act reluctantly, don't be selfish, don't be undisciplined in your thoughts, don't be either a busybody or a slacker. Let the God within you govern a real human being, a mature person, a citizen, a Roman, a ruler, someone who has taken his post like a soldier, waiting for the signal to retire from life, needing neither oath nor witness. Cheerfulness, independence, no need for others' help or the peace they might give you. You need to stand straight, not be straightened. Meditation 6. If you find anything in life better than justice, truth, self-control, and courage, better than a mind satisfied that it's acting rationally where action is possible, and accepting what's beyond its control where fate rules. If you find anything better than this, embrace it without reservation and enjoy this supreme good you've discovered. But if nothing seems better than the divine spirit seated within you, which has subordinated your individual desires, which examines your thoughts, which has, in Socrates' words, detached itself from sensual temptations, which has submitted itself to the gods and genuinely cares for other people. If you find this better than everything else, don't make room for anything that might distract you from it or tempt you off course. Once you let something else compete with what's rational and social in you, even something seemingly minor like popularity, wealth, or pleasure, you'll never again be able to give this highest good the undivided allegiance it deserves. Nothing should compete with what's good and rational, not even briefly. So make your choice straightforwardly and freely and stick to it. Choose what's best. Best is what benefits me. If it benefits you as a rational being, preserve it. But if it only benefits you as an animal, reject it and maintain your judgment without arrogance. Just be sure you make the inquiry reliably. Meditation 7. Never consider as beneficial anything that will force you to break your word. Abandon your self-respect. Hate someone. Be suspicious. Call down curses. Put on an act, or desire something that needs to be hidden behind walls and curtains. Someone who prioritizes their own rational spirit and its perfection above all else doesn't dramatize, doesn't complain, doesn't need company or solitude. Most importantly, they'll live without either pursuing or avoiding, completely indifferent to whether their time in this body is longer or shorter. Even if they had to die right now, they'd be just as ready as they'd be to perform any other honorable action. For their whole life, this has been their only concern, that their mind be occupied only with the activities appropriate to a rational, social being. Meditation 8. In a mind disciplined and purified, you'll find nothing infected, impure, or festering, nothing servile or affected, no allegiances except to reason, no aversions, nothing hidden or held back. Death will never catch such a life unfinished, the way you might say an actor died before the play was over. Meditation 9. Treat your capacity for judgment with respect. Everything depends on it, that your judgments not be inconsistent with nature or with how a rational mind works. Rationality ensures thoughtful action, social affection, and obedience to the gods. So discard everything else. Hold to these few truths. Remember that we each live only in the present, this brief moment. The rest is either past and gone or uncertain future. Each life is a small thing. The corner of the earth we live in is small. Even the greatest posthumous fame is small, passed along through generations of short-lived people who don't even know themselves, much less those who died long ago. Meditation 10. To the principles above, add this one. Always define or describe whatever presents itself to your mind so you can see it for what it is. Its substance, its nature, its purpose, its components, its future dissolution. Nothing cultivates greatness of spirit more than the ability to systematically investigate everything that happens in life and to see each thing as part of the whole, asking, what does the universe use this for? What value does it have for the whole? What value for humans, citizens of the highest city of which all other cities are like households? Meditation 11. What is this thing in itself? What is it made of? How long will it last? What virtue does it call for? Gentleness, courage, honesty, trustworthiness, straightforwardness, independence, or what? In each case you need to say, this came from God, or this is part of the fate web, the interconnection of cause and effect, or this came from someone of my own kind, a relative and colleague who doesn't know what nature requires. But I do know. That's why I treat them with the natural kindness and fairness we're born for. Meditation 12. If you work on what's in front of you, following the rule of reason seriously, vigorously, calmly, not letting anything else distract you, keeping your spirit pure and steady, as if you had to return it right now. If you hold to this, expecting nothing and fearing nothing, satisfied to live by your nature and to speak heroic truth in every word, you will live well. And no one can stop you. Meditation 13. Just as doctors always have their instruments ready for emergencies, you should have your principles ready for understanding both the divine and the human, and for doing even the smallest thing with awareness of the bond connecting the two. You'll never succeed in human endeavors without reference to the divine, or in divine matters without considering the human. Meditation 14. Stop fooling yourself. You'll never read your old journals, or the deeds of ancient Rome and Greece, or the extracts from books you've been saving for your old age. Get to the point. Give up empty hopes. Rescue yourself if you care about yourself at all, while you still can. Meditation 15. People don't understand the meaning of theft, sowing, buying, resting, seeing what needs to be done, which is perceived not with the eyes, but with another kind of vision. Meditation 16. Body, soul, mind. Sensations, the body. To experience sensations is characteristic of animals. To be jerked around by selfish impulses is characteristic of wild animals, tyrants like Phalaris or Nero. To make your mind your guide to what seems best, this is characteristic of people who don't believe in the gods, who betray their country, who do anything when the doors are closed. If the rest is common to the types I've mentioned, then what remains unique to the good person is to love and welcome what happens and what fate assigns. Not to trouble the divine spirit planted within, not to overwhelm it with impressions, but to maintain its serenity, following God in an orderly way, never saying anything untrue or doing anything unjust. Even if everyone doubts that this person lives simply, honestly, and cheerfully, they're not angry at any of them, and they don't turn aside from the path that leads to life's goal, which they must reach pure, peaceful, ready to let go, fitting effortlessly into their fate. Book 4. Meditation 1. The ruling part of your mind, when it's in its natural state, is positioned toward events so that it can always adapt to what's possible and given to it. It doesn't fix itself on any predetermined object. Instead, it sets out toward its goal with reservations, then uses whatever it encounters as material to work with, like fire consuming what falls into it. A small flame would be extinguished, but a large fire rapidly absorbs everything thrown at it and consumes it all, growing even stronger in the process. Meditation 2. Nothing should be done thoughtlessly or randomly, but according to the principles of the art of living. Meditation 3. People look for retreats, in the country, at the beach, in the mountains. You're especially prone to this kind of yearning. But this is the most unsophisticated thing imaginable. You can retreat into yourself whenever you want. Nowhere is quieter or more private than your own mind, especially if it contains the kind of thoughts that, when examined, immediately restore complete calm. By calm, I mean a well-ordered mind. Give yourself this retreat constantly. Renew yourself. Keep your principles brief and fundamental, things that, when you encounter them, will immediately cleanse your mind and send you back ready to face what awaits you. What are you resenting? People's meanness. Consider, rational beings exist for one another. Tolerance is part of justice. They're acting involuntarily out of ignorance. Think of all the people who spent their lives in enmity, suspicion, hatred, fighting. Now they're buried and reduced to ashes. It's time to stop. What about your share of the world's events? Either there's a rational providence or random atoms. We've covered this already. The world is a city. As for your body, if your mind has achieved clarity and knows its own power, why should breathing, smooth or rough, matter to it? Breath is indifferent. What about reputation? Look how quickly everyone's forgotten. The void of infinite time before and after, the emptiness of applause, the fickleness and lack of judgment in those who claim to praise you, the tiny region it takes place in. So practice this retreat constantly into this small territory of yourself. Above all, no distraction, no intensity. Be free. Look at things simply. As a human being, as a citizen, as a mortal. Keep two thoughts close at hand. Meditation 4. If rationality is common to us all, then reason, which tells us what to do and what not to do, is also common. If that's common, then so is law. If law, then we're fellow citizens. If fellow citizens, then we share a government. If we share a government, the world is like a city. What other shared government could encompass all humanity? From this universal city comes our rationality, our reason, our law. Where else could they come from? The earthly part of me comes from earth, the wet from water, breath from air, the hot and fiery from fire. And my intelligence comes from some source too. Meditation 5. Death, like birth, is a mystery of nature, elements combining, then dispersing back into elements again. Nothing shameful about it. Nothing inconsistent with being an intelligent living being or contrary to our design. Meditation 6. Given those people, that behavior is inevitable. Wishing it were otherwise is like wishing a fig tree didn't produce figs. Remember, very soon both you and he will be dead. Soon not even your names will remain. Meditation 7. Eliminate the judgment, and you eliminate the complaint, I've been harmed. Eliminate the complaint, I've been harmed, and the harm itself is eliminated. Meditation 8. What doesn't harm the community can't harm the individual. Test every supposed harm this way. If it doesn't harm the community, it doesn't harm you either. If it genuinely harms the community, don't be angry at the person responsible. Show them where they went wrong. Meditation 9. Don't imagine what the wrongdoer imagines. Look at the thing itself, what it really is. Meditation 10. Keep two principles ready. First, do only what reason, your kingly legislative faculty, suggests for the benefit of others. Second, change your position if someone can set you straight or convert you. But this conversion must come from a conviction about justice or the common good, not from anticipated pleasure or fame. Meditation 11. You have reason, yes, then why not use it? If it's doing its job, what more do you need? Meditation 12. You've existed as a part. You'll vanish into what produced you, or rather, be taken back into the generative reason of the universe. Many grains of incense on the same altar. One crumbles now, another later. It makes no difference. Meditation 13. Within 10 days, you'll be considered a god by the same people who now see you as barely better than an ape if you return to principles and respect for reason. Meditation 14. Don't act as if you have 10,000 years to live. Death hangs over you. While you're still alive, while you can become good. Meditation 15. How much time he saves who doesn't look to see what his neighbor says or does or thinks, but only at what he does himself, making it just and pure. As Agathon says, not to investigate the evil conditions of others, but to run straight toward the goal unswerving. Meditation 16. Someone obsessed with posthumous fame doesn't realize that all who remember him will soon be dead themselves. Then those who succeeded them, until all memory, transmitted through people who mindlessly admired and then died, is extinguished entirely. But suppose that those who remember you and your reputation were immortal. What good is that to you? I don't just mean after you're dead, but even while you're alive. What use is praise, except for practical reasons? You're throwing away nature's gift, clinging instead to what other people say tomorrow. Meditation 17. Everything beautiful is beautiful in itself, complete in itself. Praise is not part of it. Praise makes nothing better or worse. This applies even to ordinary, beautiful things, material objects, works of art. Does anything genuinely beautiful need more than this? Does an emerald become worse for lack of praise? Gold, ivory, purple fabric, a knife, a flower, a tree. Meditation 18. If souls survive death, how has the air contained them since eternity? How has the earth contained all the bodies buried since then? Just as here, their transformation into other substances makes room for more, after however long they spend there, so too with souls transferred to the air. After existing there for some time, they're transformed, diffused, ignited, and reabsorbed into the generative reason of the universe, making room for new souls. That's the answer, assuming souls do survive. But consider not just the number of buried bodies, but all the animals eaten every day by us and other creatures. Despite this massive consumption, they're contained because they're converted into blood, transformed into air and fire. How do we investigate this? By separating what's material from what's causal. Meditation 19. Don't be distracted. With every action, ask, is this essential? Not just in your actions, but in your impressions. Cut out unnecessary assumptions too. Then unnecessary actions won't follow. Meditation 20. Whatever is good for you, world, is good for me. Nothing is untimely for me if it's timely for you. Whatever your seasons bring is fruit for me. From you all things come, in you all things exist, to you all things return. Someone can say, dear city of Cecrops. Can I not say, dear city of God? Meditation 21. Do little if you want contentment, says the proverb. Better do what's necessary, what reason requires in a social being, and in the way it requires. This brings the contentment of doing things well and the contentment of doing fewer things. Most of what we say and do is unnecessary. Eliminate it, and you'll have more time and less aggravation. Ask yourself at every moment, is this necessary? And eliminate not just unnecessary actions, but unnecessary thoughts. Then pointless actions won't follow. Meditation 22. Experience the life of the good person, someone pleased with their assigned share of the world's events and satisfied with their own just actions and charitable disposition. You've seen that other life. Now try this one. Stop complicating yourself. Someone does wrong. They wrong themselves. Something happens to you. Fine. It was meant for you from the beginning, spun into the thread of your fate. In short, life is brief. Make the most of the present with good sense and justice. Stay focused, yet relaxed. Meditation 23. Either an ordered universe or a chaotic jumble, yet still an order. Can there be order in you, but not in the whole? Especially when all things are so differentiated, yet still connected and coordinated. Meditation 24. A corrupt character, an effeminate character, stubborn, bestial, childish, stupid, fraudulent, clownish, mercenary, tyrannical. If someone's a stranger to the world, ignorant of what's in it, why not equally a stranger who's amazed by what happens in it? Meditation 25. A fugitive from the reason that governs humanity. Blind with eyes that don't see. Poor, dependent on others, lacking what life requires. A tumor on the universe, rebelling against nature's government by resenting what happens. Nature produces this as it produced you. A fragment broken off from the city, when you sever your own mind from the mind of rational beings. Meditation 26. One person works without a shirt, another without a book. Look, someone half naked. I don't have bread, he says, but I stick to reason. I don't get what I need from my studies, and I stick to reason. Meditation 27. Value the skill you have. Take refuge in it. Spend your remaining years as someone who sincerely entrusts themselves and what's theirs to the gods, neither tyrannizing others nor letting them tyrannize you. Meditation 28. Reflect on Vespasian's time, for instance. You'll see the same things: marrying, raising children, getting sick, dying, fighting, partying, doing business, farming, flattering, pushing, suspecting, plotting, praying for others to die, complaining about their lives, falling in love, saving money, seeking high office and power. That entire life, all gone. Now Trajan's time, again the same, that life too gone. Survey other eras and entire peoples. How many died soon after intense effort? Think particularly of those you knew personally, distracted by the wrong things, neglecting to do what their own nature required, to hold to it and find satisfaction in it alone. Remember, the attention you give things should be proportional to their worth. Then you won't give up in frustration if you're spending less time than you should on unimportant things. Meditation 29. Words once current are now obsolete. So too the names of the famous dead, Camillus, Ciso, Volsus, Dentatus, then Scipio and Cato, then Augustus, Hadrian, Antoninus Pius. Everything fades, becomes legend, is forgotten. And this applies to the spectacular and celebrated. Everyone else, moment they die, they're gone. What is eternal fame? Empty, hollow. What should we work for? Only this: proper understanding, unselfish action, truthful speech, acceptance of all that happens as necessary and familiar, flowing from the same source. Meditation 30. Willingly give yourself to Clotho. Let her spin your thread however she wants. Meditation 31. Everything transitory, the knower and the known. Meditation 32. Constant awareness, change and transformation everywhere. Train yourself to see it. The nature of the universe loves nothing more than changing things, creating new versions of them. Everything that exists is the seed of what will emerge from it. You think the only seeds are those planted in earth or wombs? Go deeper. Meditation 33. About to die, still not simple, still confused, still convinced external things can hurt you, still rude to people, still not seeing that the only thing to fear is your own misperception. Meditation 34. Observe the rational principle in people the world considers wise. What do they avoid? What do they pursue? Meditation 35. Harm to you cannot exist in someone else's mental universe, nor in any change or alteration of your surroundings. Where then, in your assumptions about harm, stop making those assumptions and everything's fine. Even if your nearest and dearest, your body, is cut, burned, infected, festering, let the part that judges this remain still. Let it decide that nothing that can happen to good and bad people alike is either good or bad. What happens to someone regardless of whether they live naturally is neither natural nor unnatural, neither good nor bad. Meditation 36. See the world as a single living being with one substance and one soul. How everything feeds into that single perception, moves by that single impulse. How all things collaborate in all that happens, the intricate web and weave of it all. Meditation 37. You're a little soul carrying a corpse, as Epictetus used to say. Meditation 38. Nothing harmful in transformation, nothing beneficial in what results from it. Meditation 39. Time is a river of passing events, a turbulent current. No sooner does something appear than it's swept away. Another comes to replace it, and that too will be swept away. Meditation 40. Everything that happens is as familiar and predictable as a rose in spring, fruit in summer. Disease, death, blasphemy, conspiracy, all the things that delight or pain stupid people, these are equally natural. What follows, follows naturally, not randomly strung together, but logically connected. Just as existing things are harmoniously coordinated, new things don't just appear sequentially, but in a marvelous relationship of cause and effect. Meditation 41. Earth's death is to become water, waters to become air, airs to become fire, and back again. Remember too someone lost about which way the path runs, that people sleepwalk through life. That reason, the thing they live with most intimately, that governs everything, is what they quarrel with most, that they find alien what they meet every day, that we shouldn't act or speak as if asleep. Even in sleep we think we're acting and speaking. Meditation 42. If a god told you tomorrow you die or the day after, you wouldn't worry about the difference, unless you're a complete coward. The difference is negligible. Think of it the same way about dying many years from now versus tomorrow. Meditation 43. Constant thought. How many doctors are dead after knitting their brows over so many deathbeds? How many astrologers after predicting others' deaths as if it meant something? How many philosophers after endless disquisitions on death and immortality? How many warriors after killing thousands? How many tyrants after using their power over life and death with terrifying arrogance as if they were immortal? How many entire cities, so to speak, are dead? Hellas, Pompeii, Herculaneum, countless others. Run through the list of everyone you know. One buries another, then is buried himself, all in the briefest time. The lesson, survey human life, brief and trivial. Yesterday sperm, tomorrow ashes or mummified flesh. Make your way through this brief moment in time in harmony with nature. End your journey gladly, like a ripe olive falling, praising the tree that produced it, grateful to the branch it hung from. Meditation 44. Be like the cliff against which waves constantly crash. It stands firm, and the churning waters around it are stilled. Meditation 45. How unlucky I am that this happened to me. No, say instead, how lucky I am that I'm not broken by what's happened, not shattered by the present or frightened by the future. It could have happened to anyone. Not everyone could have remained unshattered. So why call it bad luck rather than good luck? Can you call something bad luck if it's not contrary to human nature, or contrary to what human nature wills? You know what that is. Does this prevent you from being just, generous, self-controlled, sane, careful, honest, straightforward, self-respecting, free. Or from having the other qualities, whose presence allows human nature to fulfill itself. Remember this principle when something threatens to cause you pain. The thing itself isn't a misfortune. Bearing it bravely is good fortune. Meditation 46. A trite but effective tactic against the fear of death. Think of the list of people who had to be pried away from life. What did they gain by dying old? They're all in the ground now. Cadicianus, Fabius, Julianus, Lepidus. The ones who carried many to their grave, then were carried there themselves. The gap's a small one, and even that, with what agonies, in what company, in what a body. Don't treat this as important. Look at the yawning emptiness of the past, the infinite future. 3 days' existence and 3 million years. What's the difference? Meditation 47. Take the shortest route, the one nature provides. Say and do everything in the soundest way possible. This frees you from trouble, fighting, pretense, showing off. Book 5. Meditation 1. In the morning, when you're having trouble getting out of bed, remind yourself, I'm waking up to do the work of a human being. Am I still going to complain about doing what I was born for, what I was brought into the world to do? Was I made for this, to huddle under the blankets and stay warm? But it's more pleasant here. Were you born for pleasure? In general, were you born to feel things or to do things? Look at the plants, the birds, the ants, the spiders, the bees, all doing their individual work, putting the world in order as best they can. And you don't want to do your job as a human being. You don't run toward what your nature demands. But we have to rest sometime. Agreed, but nature set limits on that, just as it did for eating and drinking. Yet you go beyond those limits, beyond what's sufficient. Not in your actions, though. There you fall short of what you're capable of. You don't love yourself. If you did, you'd love your nature and what it demands of you. People who love their work wear themselves out doing it. They forget to wash or eat. But you value your own nature less than a metalworker values metalworking, a dancer dancing, a miser money, or a fame-seeker recognition. When they're passionate about something, they'd rather stop eating and sleeping than give up practicing their art. Is helping others less valuable to you, not worth your effort? Meditation 2. How easy it is to push away and obliterate every disturbing or inappropriate thought, and immediately be at complete peace. Meditation 3. Judge yourself entitled to any word or action that's in accord with nature. Don't let criticism from others, whatever they might say or think, deter you. If it's right to say or do, then you deserve to say or do it. The critics have their own minds and follow their own impulses. Don't be distracted by them. Go straight ahead, following your own nature and the common nature. The path of both is one. Meditation 4. I walk the path that nature prescribes until I fall and rest, breathing my last into the air from which I draw each breath, and falling onto the earth that gave my father his seed, my mother her blood, my nurse her milk. The earth that feeds and waters me every day, that I walk on, that I abuse in so many ways, for so many purposes. Meditation 5. Your intelligence may not be up to some things. Fine. There are many other qualities you can't claim you lack by nature. Display the ones wholly in your power. Sincerity, seriousness, hard work, self-denial, acceptance, honesty, self-control, straightforwardness. Can't you see how much you're capable of, beyond excuses like can't? And yet you still settle for less. Is it really some inborn condition that makes you complain and cringe and flatter, that makes you blame your body, that makes you suck up and show off, that keeps your mind in turmoil? No, you could have broken free of all that long ago. The only charge against you would be a little slow, which you need to work on, not ignoring it or enjoying your slowness. Meditation 6. Some people, when they help someone, immediately expect gratitude and recognition. Others don't go that far, but they still think of the person as indebted to them. At least they know what they've done. But others don't even know what they've done. They're like the vine that produces grapes without wanting anything in return, like a horse after its run, a dog after its hunt, a bee after making honey. They move on to the next thing, like the vine ready to produce more grapes in season. So we should be one of those people, acting without realizing it. Yes, but realize this. It's characteristic of social beings to see themselves as acting socially, and to want their fellow citizens to see it too. True, but you're misunderstanding the point. You'll end up like the people I mentioned before, misled by plausible reasoning. If you want to understand the real point, don't worry. You won't abandon doing good. Meditation 7. The Athenians used to pray, "Rain, rain, dear Zeus," on the fields and plains of Athens. Either we shouldn't pray at all, or we should pray this simply and openly, not just for me. Meditation 8. Just as we say the doctor prescribed this person horseback riding, or cold baths, or walking barefoot, we can also say universal nature prescribed this person illness, or disability, or loss, or something similar. In the first case, prescribed means something ordered for the benefit of the patient's health. In the second, what's assigned to each person is ordered for the benefit of fate. We say things happen to us the way masons say stones happen together in arches or pyramids when they fit precisely in their designated place. There's a single harmony. Just as the world is a single body made up of all bodies, so fate is a single purpose made up of all purposes. Even the uneducated understand this. They say fate brought this on him. It was brought on him and prescribed for him. Let's accept it as we accept what the doctors prescribe. Many of their prescriptions are unpleasant too, but we accept them in hope of health. Let the working out of the common natures will be like your health to you. Accept gladly whatever happens, even if it seems harsh, because it leads to the health of the world, to the well-being and success of Zeus himself. He wouldn't have brought this on someone unless it contributed to the whole. Nature doesn't bring about anything that isn't appropriate to what it governs. 2 reasons, then, to accept it. Because it was done for you, prescribed for you, assigned to you from the beginning through the chain of cause and effect. And second, because even for the administrator of all, your individual experience is one of the supports contributing to his success, his fulfillment, his very existence. Because the whole is damaged if you cut away even the smallest part of its connectedness and continuity of causes or of components. And you do cut away to the extent you can when you complain. You're destroying something. Meditation 9. Don't be put off. Don't lose heart when you can't act according to correct principles in every instance. When you're knocked off balance, return to them. Be glad you can return to them most of the time, even if most of what you face are the inevitable distractions and human weaknesses. Don't return to philosophy as a chore, like schoolchildren and their teachers, but the way someone with sore eyes reaches for the sponge and salve, or a poultice, or a lotion. That way you won't be showing off your obedience to reason, just resting in it. Remember, philosophy requires only what your nature already demands. You want something else, something unnatural. What could be more satisfying than what I'm after? That's what pleasure says. But think, magnanimity, freedom, honesty, consideration, holiness. What's more satisfying than wisdom itself, and the reliability of things working as they should, the way our power of understanding was designed to work. External things require interpretation. Understanding takes effort. Stoics think even their conclusions can be wrong, who avoids error entirely. Look at objects and how temporary they are, the trash owned by degenerates and whores. Look at the people you live with, how hard to put up with them, and with yourself. In such murkiness, the obscurity of matter and time, of motion and things in motion, I can't think of anything worth pursuing seriously. Meditation 10. Take comfort in two things as you await your natural death, that nothing will happen to you that isn't natural, and that you needn't do anything contrary to your guiding spirit. No one can force you to violate it. Meditation 11. What use am I making of my mind? Ask yourself this constantly. Interrogate yourself. What's going on in the part they call my ruling principle? Whose mind do I have at the moment? A child's, an adolescent's, a woman's, a dictator's, an animal's, a predator's. Meditation 12. You can see what most people think is good from this. If you think of things that are truly good, wisdom, self-control, justice, courage, with those in mind you can't make room for the popular jingle, so much good stuff that it doesn't fit, it isn't appropriate. But if you think of the things most people mean by good, the jingle fits perfectly. Even ordinary people see the joke and find it acceptable. That's how obvious the difference is. Otherwise, the jingle wouldn't offend and grate in the first case, while we accept it in the second, when we take it to mean material wealth and luxury. Go ahead and ask if we should value things that let us apply the words, so much stuff that there's nowhere to shit. Meditation 13. I'm made of form and matter. Neither can dissolve into nothing, just as neither came from nothing. So every part of me will be reassigned to another part of the world, then changed again into another part, on and on forever. That's how I came to exist, and my parents, and back through the chain. We can speak this way, even if the world is organized into fixed periods, and then recycled. Meditation 14. Reason and logic are self-sufficient. They move of their own accord. They head toward their goal by the most direct route toward what's achievable, which is why we call our actions correct, literally toward the target. Nothing unconnected to a human being should count as human. They're not demanded of us. Our nature doesn't promise them. They're not means to our nature's ends. Which means they can't constitute our goal either, or the thing that completes our goal, what's good for us. If they were things we were meant to have, then rejecting them or resisting them wouldn't be admirable. People who need less wouldn't deserve praise. People who deprived themselves of these things, if they were really good things, wouldn't be good people. But in fact, the more we avoid such things, or endure their loss, the better we are. Meditation 15. Your mind takes on the character of your thoughts. Saturate it with thoughts like these. Wherever you can live well. You can live well at court. Everything is made for a purpose and moves toward it. Its purpose is its good. A rational being's purpose and good is community. We are meant for one another. I've been saying that forever. Lower things for higher ones for one another. Living things are better than inanimate objects. Rational ones better than merely living ones. Meditation 16. Expecting bad people not to harm others is crazy. It's asking the impossible. And allowing them to harm others, but expecting them not to harm you is arrogant and tyrannical. Meditation 17. 4 habits of mind to watch for and replace with these thoughts. Unnecessary imaginings, I can stop thinking this. It's not needed. Meditation 18. Revere what's most powerful in the world, what makes use of everything and directs everything. Likewise in yourself. It's the same thing, what makes use of everything else, what your life is steered by. Meditation 19. What doesn't harm the community can't harm the individual. Apply this test to every apparent wrong. If the community isn't harmed, you aren't either. If it is, don't be angry at the person responsible. Ask, what made them see it that way? Remember how quickly things that exist and things that happen are swept away, all of them. Substance is a river in constant flux, causes constantly changing, almost nothing stable, the infinite abyss of past and future where everything vanishes. Aren't you foolish to be puffed up by praise or distressed by criticism, anxious about anything, complaining that it lasts too long? Think of the whole universe. You're a fragment of all time, a split second. Meditation 20. Don't let your spiritual center be affected by your body's experiences, pain or pleasure. Don't let them mingle, circumscribe them, confine them to the part that feels them. When they seep upward toward the mind, as they will in a unified organism, don't fight the physical sensation. But don't let your mind add its own judgment that the sensation is either good or bad. Meditation 21. To live with the gods. Show them a soul content with what it's allotted and obedient to the spirit, the fragment of Zeus, that he gave each person as a guardian and guide. That spirit is each person's mind and reason. Meditation 22. Don't be irritated at people's smell or bad breath. What can they do about it? That's how their mouths are. That's how their armpits are. They have to have that smell. But they have reason. They could figure out that they're bothering people. And you have reason. Use yours to awaken theirs. Show them. Explain it to them. If they listen, you've cured the problem. No anger necessary. Meditation 23. Nowhere to go. You can go within. Nowhere's quieter, more private than your own mind, especially one stocked with thoughts that let you instantly relax. By relax, I mean equipped with principles. Keep them close, they're all you need. Until something forces you out, like smoke from a building, you'll stay free. No one can stop you from doing what you want. Your will is governed by the nature of a rational, social being. Meditation 24. The rational entity that governs the universe is social. That's why it subordinates lower things to higher ones and harmonizes higher ones with one another. See how it ranks things, apportions, connects, how it unites the best things in agreement with one another. Meditation 25. How have you treated the gods, your parents, siblings, wife, children, teachers, caregivers, friends, household staff, servants? Have you avoided wronging any of them, in word or deed? Remember what you've survived, how much you've endured. Your story is done, your assignment complete. Good things you've seen, pleasures and pains you've ignored, honors you've passed up, kind treatment you've given unkind people. Meditation 26. Why should ignorant people upset educated ones? Educated? What does that mean? Someone who knows the beginning and end, who understands the rational principle running through all existence, through all time, managing the world in recurring cycles. Meditation 27. Soon you'll be ashes or bones, a name at most, and even that's just sound, an echo. The things we prize in life are empty, rotten, trivial, puppies snapping at one another, quarreling children, laughing, and then bursting into tears a moment later. Trust, shame, justice, truth, gone from the earth to Olympus. What keeps you here? Sensory objects are shifting and unstable, our senses dim and easily deceived. The soul itself is an exhalation of blood. Fame in a world like this is worthless. What then? Wait for it. Extinction or transformation, either one with equanimity. But until that time, worship and praise the gods, treat people well, bear and forbear. Remember that what lies outside your abilities and power is neither yours nor not yours. Meditation 28. You can always do well if you choose the right path. Think and act methodically. Two things all souls share: divine and human, rational beings and animals. Not to let anything outside obstruct them. To locate their good in just action and just intentions, and restrict their desires to that. Meditation 29. It's not my bad action or the result of any bad action of mine. It doesn't harm the community. Why should it trouble me? How does it harm the community? Don't be misled by harm. Help people to the best of your ability as opportunities arise. But don't think they've been harmed when they lose things that aren't good or bad. Like the old man in the play who demands his foster child's top back at departure, though he remembers it's only a top. What's all the courtroom fuss about? Have you forgotten what these things really are? Yes, but other people care about them. So you have to be foolish too. Meditation 30. Death can catch me wherever. I'll be content regardless. A contented person is someone who assigns themselves a good fate. A good fate means good impulses, good intentions, good actions. Book 6. Meditation 1. The substance of the universe is malleable and compliant. The reason governing it has no motive to cause harm. It contains no evil, does no evil, and harms nothing. Everything happens according to its design. Meditation 2. It should make no difference to you whether you're cold or warm, tired or well-rested, criticized or praised, dying or doing something else. Dying is just one of the actions of life. Even there, to do the job at hand is enough. Meditation 3. Look inward. Don't let the quality or worth of anything escape you before you've grasped what it really is. Meditation 4. All substances change quickly. They're either dissolved into the universe's matter, if all things merge into one, or dispersed, as some believe. The rational principle governing all understands itself, its nature, its work, what it works with, and acts accordingly. We don't. No wonder we find so many things puzzling. Meditation 5. The best revenge is not to be like that. Meditation 6. Delight in one thing and find rest in it, moving from social act to social act, keeping God in mind. Meditation 7. The mind's command center can wake itself up, redirect itself, make itself into whatever it wants. It makes events and everything else appear as it chooses. Meditation 8. Everything that happens is determined by the universe's nature, not by any other nature, either external and enclosing it, or internal and enclosed by it, or separate and independent. Either the universe is random chaos destined for dispersal, or it's a unity governed by providence. If chaos, why would I want to stick around in this random swirl? Why care about anything except becoming earth again? Why trouble myself? Dispersal will find me regardless. But if the second, I revere the power in charge. I stand in awe. I trust the one who steers. Meditation 9. When circumstances upset your balance, return to yourself as quickly as possible. Don't stay out of tune longer than necessary. You'll have better control of the harmony if you keep going back to it. Meditation 10. If you had both a stepmother and your real mother alive, you'd be considerate to your stepmother, but keep returning to your real mother for refuge. That's the court and philosophy for you. Keep coming back to philosophy. It makes the court tolerable and you tolerable at court. Meditation 11. How useful it is to see food and dishes for what they are. This is a dead fish, this is a dead bird, this is a dead pig. This expensive wine is fermented grape juice. This purple robe is sheep's wool dyed with shellfish blood. Sex is friction of organs and a spasm. These mental images, stripping things down to their nature, seeing through them, are extraordinarily useful. Use them throughout your life, especially when things seem particularly important. Your job is to strip them bare, expose their worthlessness, remove the pretentious descriptions that make them seem grand. Showiness is a great deceiver. When you think you're working on important things, that's when you're most likely to be fooled. Meditation 12. Consider what Crates said about Xenocrates himself. Meditation 13. Most people admire physical things, minerals, wood, fig trees, vines, olives. The more cultured admire animate things, flocks, herds. The refined admire rational beings, not for their rationality, but for their skills and cleverness, or simply for owning many slaves. But someone who values the rational mind for its own sake, as rational and social, doesn't waste time on anything else. Above all, they work to keep their own mind rational and social, cooperating with others in that work, with God. Meditation 14. Some things rush into being, others rush out of it. Even what exists now is already partly gone. Flux and transformation constantly renew the world, just as time's unbroken chain constantly renews eternity. In this river of change, what should anyone value? It's like loving a sparrow that flies past, no sooner seen than gone. Life itself is like vapor from the blood, a breath of air. Breathing in and breathing out, which we do every moment, is no different from returning all your respiratory power to the element from which you drew it yesterday or the day before. Meditation 15. It's not vegetative life that's valuable, plants have that. Or respiration, animals have that. Or being moved by impulses, or living in herds, or being fed. That's no different from excreting waste. What's valuable then? An audience? No, not applause either. The praise of tongues, that's just noise. Fame is worthless. What's left? This, to move and stop as your nature requires. The end that work and art aim at. Every craft does this. The gardener, the horse trainer, the dog breeder, their work aims to serve a purpose, to achieve an end. Education and teaching aim at something too. That's where value lies. Achieve that and you won't seek anything else. Won't you stop valuing all the other things? Won't you be free, self-sufficient, not subject to passion? You'll be envious, jealous, suspicious of anyone who can take it away. You'll scheme against those who have what you want. People who need those things must be in turmoil and constantly blaming the gods. But if you respect and value only your mind, that makes you satisfied with yourself, harmonious with others, in tune with the gods, accepting and praising what they ordain. Meditation 16. The elements move up and down, back and forth. Virtue's movement is different, more divine. It advances along a path that's hard to grasp. Meditation 17. Strange, isn't it? People won't praise their contemporaries, the ones they live with, but want the praise of future generations, people they've never met and never will. That's like being upset that past generations didn't praise you. Meditation 18. Don't assume it's impossible just because you find it hard. Assume that anything humanly possible is within your reach too. Meditation 19. In the gym, someone might scratch us with their nails or headbutt us by accident. We don't denounce them or get suspicious or regard them as enemies. We just keep our distance, not with hostility or suspicion, just a calm sidestep. Do that in other areas of life. Overlook many things. As I said, it's possible to avoid without hatred or suspicion. Meditation 20. If someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake, I'll gladly change. It's the truth I'm after, and the truth never harmed anyone. What harms us is continuing in self-deception and ignorance. Meditation 21. I do my job. Nothing else distracts me. The things without reason or understanding, or misled and ignorant, they don't bother me. I treat irrational things generously. They have no reason. Rational beings I treat as family. We share reason. My duty is to work with them. Whatever you do, invoke the gods. However long you have left, let it not concern you. 3 hours is enough. Meditation 22. Alexander the Great and his mule driver both ended up the same way in death. Either they were reabsorbed into the generative principles of the universe, or scattered into atoms. Meditation 23. Think how many things, affecting body and mind, happen to each of us in a single moment. Then you won't be surprised that infinitely more things, everything that happens, exist simultaneously in the single organism, the universe. Meditation 24. If someone asks how to spell Antoninus, you'd spell it out letter by letter. If they get angry, would you get angry back? No, you just keep calmly spelling it. Do that here too. Every task has its component parts. Complete them methodically without getting upset at people who are upset with you. Meditation 25. Isn't it cruel to stop people from pursuing what they think is good for them? But you're doing that when you get angry at their mistakes. They're drawn toward what they think is good. But they're wrong. Then teach them, show them, don't get angry. Meditation 26. Death, the end of sense perception, of being controlled by our emotions, of mental activity, of enslavement to our bodies. Meditation 27. If your body can hold out, it's shameful for your mind to give up first. Be careful. Don't become just another bureaucrat, dyed in purple. It happens. Stay simple, good, pure, dignified, unaffected, a friend to justice, God-fearing, kind, affectionate, strong for your proper work. Fight to be the person philosophy tried to make you. Revere the gods, take care of others. Life is short. Goodness and reverence, that's the only harvest from life on earth. Meditation 28. Act like Antoninus Pius in every way. His persistence in rational actions, his consistency, his serenity, his cheerful expression, his kindness, his indifference to status, his determination to grasp every issue, his refusal to stop until he completely understood, how he tolerated unjust criticism without returning it, never hasty, distrustful of slander, a careful observer of character and action. Not a gossip, not easily alarmed, not suspicious, plain-spoken. Content with the basics, housing, bedding, clothes, food, staff. Hard-working, patient. His modest diet let him work from dawn to dusk without even needing the bathroom at the usual hours. Steadfast in friendship, welcoming frank opposition to his views, delighted when someone had a better idea. Reverent without superstition, so that when your own final hour comes, your conscience can be as clear as his. Meditation 29. Come back to yourself. Wake up. Realize they were just dreams disturbing you. Now that you're awake, look at the world the way you look at dreams. Meditation 30. I'm made of body and mind. To my body, everything is indifferent. It can't tell the difference. To my mind, only its own actions matter. And even those, only what's happening now. Past and future actions don't concern it yet. Meditation 31. As long as hands and feet do their job, the work isn't unnatural. So too with human beings. As long as you do human work, it's not against your nature. And if it's not against your nature, it doesn't harm you. If pleasure were the good, then how did tyrants, thieves, parasites, and dictators manage to enjoy so much of it? Meditation 32. Craftsmen stick to their craft, even though they're hardly enlightened. An architect or doctor values their profession more than people value being human, our shared rationality with the gods. Meditation 33. Asia, Europe, corners of the world, the ocean, a drop, Mount Athos, a dirt clod, the present, a split second in eternity. Minuscule, transient, insubstantial. Everything comes from the mind of the world, either intended directly or as a consequence. The lion's jaws, poison, thorns, mud, byproducts of the good and beautiful. Don't think of them as alien to what you revere, but focus on the source of all things. Meditation 34. Whoever sees the present has seen everything, what's happened from time immemorial and what will happen, all of a kind, all alike. Meditate often on the interconnectedness of all things, how they relate to one another. They're woven together, drawn to each other, arranged in sequence. By their movement, their shared purpose, the unity of their substance. Meditation 35. Adapt yourself to the life you've been given. Love the people you find yourself with, and mean it. A tool that does what it's designed for, even if its maker is long gone. With natural objects, the power that made them is still present, inside them. Revere it. If you live as it requires, nothing will upset you. That's how the world's intelligence finds happiness. Meditation 36. If you see something external as good or bad, then when you get the bad or miss out on the good, you'll blame the gods and hate the people responsible, or those you think are responsible. We do commit injustices when we differentiate between these things. But if we recognize only what's in our power as good or bad, there's no reason to challenge God or treat any person as an enemy. Meditation 37. We all work for the same goal, some knowingly, some not. Sleepers, Heraclitus says, are workers and collaborators on what happens in the world. One person contributes one way, another way. Even someone who complains and tries to obstruct or undermine. The world needs people like that too. Choose which kind of person you want to be. The world's administrator will make use of you either way. He'll make you part of the plan. Just make sure you're not the embarrassing line in the play that Chrysippus mentions. Meditation 38. Does the sun try to do the rain's work, Aesculapius the earth's? What about the stars, different but working together? Meditation 39. If the gods made decisions about me, then I trust their judgment. An incompetent god is hard to imagine. Why would they want to harm me? What would they gain, or the world they care for? If they didn't make decisions about me specifically, they certainly made them about the general welfare. What follows from that, I should welcome and embrace. And if they make no decisions at all, an impious thought, in which case let's stop sacrificing and praying and swearing oaths and all the other things we do as if the gods were right here with us. But if they really don't, then I can still make decisions about what helps me. And what helps me is what fits my nature. My nature is rational and social. My city is Rome. As a human being, my city is the world. What benefits those cities is my only good. Meditation 40. What happens to one person happens for the benefit of all. That should be enough. But you'll see more. Generally speaking, what's good for one is good for others too. Good here in the conventional sense, things we usually call neutral. Meditation 41. The shows in the arena, the same old thing, always the same. After a while you can't stand watching them. And that's how you should see all of life. Above and below, the same things, the same sources. How much longer? Meditation 42. Think of all the different people, different occupations, different nationalities, who are dead, all the way down to Philistion, Phoebus, Oregonian. Then other generations, where they've gone, the brilliant speakers, the great philosophers, Heraclitus, Pythagoras, Socrates, the heroes of old, the soldiers and kings of more recent times, Eudoxus, Hipparchus, Archimedes, sharp minds, big personalities, workers, cynics, mockers of the whole brief, fragile business of life like Menipus. All underground, so. What harm does it do them? Or the nameless ones, what difference does it make to them? One thing matters, to live in truth and justice, with tolerance for liars and wrongdoers. Meditation 43. When you need encouragement, think of the qualities the people around you have. This one's energy, that one's modesty, another's generosity, and so on. Nothing is as encouraging as when virtues are visibly embodied in the people around you, when you're practically showered with them. Keep them nearby. Meditation 44. You don't resent weighing a certain amount instead of 300 pounds. Why resent living a certain number of years instead of more? You accept the body's limits. Accept the limits on your time. Meditation 45. Persuade them if you can, but if justice requires it, do it even if they object. If someone blocks you by force, switch to acceptance and calm endurance. Use the obstacle to practice a different virtue. Remember, your ambition was conditional. You weren't trying to do the impossible. What were you trying to do? To try, and you've succeeded. What you set out to do is accomplished. Meditation 46. Ambition means tying your well-being to what other people say or do. Self-indulgence means tying it to the things that happen to you. Sanity means tying it to your own actions. Meditation 47. You can get rid of many unnecessary assumptions. They're completely within your control. Clearing them away opens up vast space. Embrace the limitless. Consider the world, the infinite time before and after, the speed with which things change and are gone, the gap between coming to be and ceasing to be. How brief the interval, how vast the before and after. Meditation 48. When someone speaks, give them your full attention. Enter their mind as much as possible. Meditation 49. What's bad for the hive is bad for the bee. Meditation 50. If sailors criticize the captain or patients the doctor, would anyone listen? Aren't people satisfied when those in charge do their jobs, captains bringing them safely to port, doctors restoring their health? Meditation 51. How many who entered the world with me have already left it? Meditation 52. Honey tastes bitter to someone with jaundice. Water terrifies someone bitten by a rabid dog. A ball is a wonderful thing to a child. Why get angry? You think falsehood is less powerful than bile or a rabid dog's venom. Meditation 53. No one can keep you from living as your nature requires. Nothing contrary to the common good can happen to you. Meditation 54. The kind of people they want to please, what they want to get from them, what methods they use. How quickly it all gets buried. How much has been buried already. Book 7. Meditation 1. What is evil? Something you've seen countless times before. Whenever anything happens that might upset you, remember, you've seen this before. Everywhere, above and below, you'll find the same things. History books are full of them. The present is full of them. Cities, households, full of the same things. There's nothing new. Everything is familiar and fleeting. Meditation 2. How can your principles die unless the thoughts that feed them die? And you control those thoughts. You can revive them whenever you want. I can see the truth about this. If I can, why am I troubled? What's outside my mind doesn't affect it. Absorb that lesson and you'll stand firm. You can start living again. See the world as you saw it before. That's all living again amounts to. Meditation 3. Pageants and performances, herds of animals, naval battles, bones thrown to quarreling dogs, crumbs tossed into a fish pond, ants loaded down, scurrying about, mice running scared when someone turns on the light, puppets jerked on strings. That's life. Stand your ground in the midst of all this, good-naturedly, without arrogance. But recognize, everyone's worth is determined by what they value. Meditation 4. In conversation, listen to what's being said. In action, watch what's being done. In the first case, grasp what's meant. In the second, watch what it's directed at. Meditation 5. Is my mind up to this or not? If it is, I'll use it for the task, as a tool provided by universal nature. If it's not, I'll either leave the job to someone better equipped, unless I have to do it anyway, or do the best I can with help from whoever can work with me to do something timely and useful for the community. Because whatever I do, alone or with others, can aim at one thing only, what serves the common good. Don't be ashamed to need help. You have a duty to fulfill, like a soldier at the wall. What if you're lame and can't scale the wall alone? With someone's help you can. Meditation 6. Don't let the future disturb you. You'll meet it with the same weapons of reason that arm you against the present. All things are interwoven, and the web is sacred. Nothing is unconnected. Things are coordinated, arranged together in the same beautiful order. One world made from all things, one God present in all, one substance, one law, the reason common to all intelligent beings, one truth. For rational beings of the same kind share the same perfection. Meditation 7. All that's material soon vanishes into the whole's matter. All that's formal or animate is soon reabsorbed into the whole's reason. The memory of anything is soon swallowed by time. Meditation 8. For a rational being, the same act is both natural and reasonable. Meditation 9. Upright by nature, not straightened. Meditation 10. Rational beings are related like body parts, formed for a single purpose. This idea will be clearer if you tell yourself, I am a limb, melos, of the body formed from rational beings. If you say instead, I am a part, meros, you don't love other people from the heart. Helping them doesn't yet delight you for its own sake. You still do it as just the right thing to do. You haven't realized. You help yourself when you help them. Meditation 11. Let external things happen to whatever can be affected by them. Let them complain if they want. I won't conceive this as harmful unless I choose to. and I can choose not to. Meditation 12. Whatever anyone says or does, I have to be good. Like gold, emerald, or purple might say, whatever anyone says or does, I have to be emerald and keep my color. Meditation 13. My own mind won't cause itself trouble. I mean, it won't frighten itself, won't lead itself into craving. If someone else can frighten or hurt it, let them. But it won't turn mere impressions into fears or pains. The body, if it can feel fear or pain, should say so. But the soul, which is all that can really experience fear or pain, which makes the judgments about such things, that's undisturbed. The mind is self-sufficient. It needs nothing unless it creates the need, unbothered and unobstructed unless it bothers and obstructs itself. Meditation 14. Well-being, eudaimonia, means a good in a spirit, daimon. So what are you doing here, imagination? Go away, I don't need you. You came the way you always do. I'm not blaming you. Just go. Meditation 15. Afraid of change. What can exist without it? What's more natural or necessary? Can you take your bath if the wood isn't transformed? Eat food without its transformation? Can any useful thing happen without transformation? Don't you see? For you to change is just the same, equally necessary to nature. Meditation 16. Through universal substance, as through rushing water, all bodies pass, of the same nature as it, working with it, as our parts work together. How many Chrysopuses, Socrateses, Epictetuses has eternity already swallowed? Keep this in mind with every person, every situation. Only one thought, not to be distracted, not to lose your focus, not to do anything inconsistent with human nature, what it is, when it should be done. The time when you'll have forgotten everything is close, and the time when you'll be forgotten. While you're alive, be good. Love even those who wrong you. They're your family. They do wrong out of ignorance. Soon you'll both be dead. Most of all, they can't harm you. They haven't made your mind worse than it was. Meditation 17. Universal nature out of universal substance, like wax, now molds a horse, then melts it down and uses the material for a tree, then a person, then something else. Each existing only briefly. It's no hardship for a box to be taken apart. Why should it be for a person? Meditation 18. An angry expression goes against nature, and when it's repeated often enough, the habit dies and the fire goes out. Try to see that even getting angry is unnatural. If you lose your sense of wrongdoing, what reason is there to go on living? Everything you see will change almost instantly. Nature, which controls it all, will transform it, make new things from the material, then new things from that, so the world is always young. Meditation 19. When someone does you wrong, ask yourself, what did they think was good or bad when they did that? When you know that, you'll feel sympathy. You won't be surprised or angry. You either see things the same way, in which case you should forgive them, or you see things differently now, in which case they're just mistaken. Be tolerant. Meditation 20. Don't think about the future as if it were already here. Think about what's present, the best of it, and see how you'd miss it if it weren't. But don't become so attached to it that when it's gone you're distraught. Retreat into yourself. Your mind, by acting justly and accepting what happens, rests content in itself. Meditation 21. Erase the unnecessary. Restrain irrational impulses. Limit yourself to the present. Understand what happens to you and to others. Divide objects into matter and cause. Think about your final hour. Other people's mistakes. Leave them where they happened. Meditation 22. Pay attention to what's said. Let your mind enter into what's being done and who's doing it. Meditation 23. Treat yourself to simplicity. Help people. Follow God's lead. Everything is determined by law, even if some maintain it's only by elements. Enough to remember, all things follow natural order. A few things or all things makes no difference. Death brings either dispersal, atoms flying apart, or extinction, transformation, relocation. Pain, when it's unbearable, it kills you. When it lasts, it must be bearable. The mind maintains its serenity by not getting involved with the body's experiences. Your character isn't worsened by pain. As for the parts that suffer, let them speak for themselves. As for status, look at the minds of people who seek it, what they avoid, what they pursue, how waves bury what lies beneath, previous layers covered completely by new sand. Meditation 24. From Plato, someone whose mind is elevated, who takes in all time and all reality, do you think mortal life would mean much to them? Impossible. Then they won't fear death either. Not at all. Meditation 25. From Antisthenes, it's royal to do good and be criticized for it. Shameful for the face to be arranged by the mind into appropriate expressions, but for the mind itself not to arrange and prepare itself. Meditation 26. From various sources, pointless to resent things, they don't care. Our lives are harvested like grain, some stalks standing, others already fallen. If the gods ignore me and my children, there's a reason. Justice and truth are on my side. Don't mourn with them or lose your composure. Meditation 27. From Plato, my answer would be, you're wrong, sir, if you think anyone worth anything should calculate their chances of living or dying. They should think about whether what they're doing is right or wrong, the act of a good or bad person. Wherever you are, placed by a commander or by yourself, because you think it's best, that's where you should stay and face the danger, fearing dishonor more than death or anything else. But consider whether real nobility and goodness consist in protecting your own life and other people's, or in something else. A real man doesn't cling to life. He leaves that to God, accepts what women always say, nobody escapes fate, and considers only how to live his time well and virtuously. To track the stars as if you'd follow them forever, to focus on their transformations, that cleanses us of earthly life's pollution. And from Plato again, look down from above at herds, armies, farms, weddings, divorces, births, deaths, courtroom noise, deserted places, barbarian nations, festivals, funerals, markets, all the confusion, the harmony of opposites. Meditation 28. Look at the past, empires rising and falling. You can foresee the future too, the same form, the same rhythm, incapable of breaking out of the present's orbit. Studying people for 40 years is no different from studying them for 10,000. What more would you see? What comes from earth returns to earth. What comes from heaven returns to heaven. Dissolution of atoms, entanglement, or similar dispersal of elements. With food and drink and magic, spells they try to cheat death. But the wind from above blows regardless. We labor, but we must endure it. Meditation 29. He's a better wrestler. So what? Is he more generous, more modest, better at dealing with what happens, more forgiving of others' mistakes? Meditation 30. Where you can work in harmony with reason, yours and the world's, there's no cause for anxiety. When you can reap benefit by acting appropriately, by human standards, no harm threatens. Everywhere, at all times, it's in your power to accept what God sends, to treat people justly, to examine your impressions. Nothing sneaks in unchecked. Meditation 31. Don't look to others' minds. Look straight ahead to where nature leads you. Universal nature in events, your own nature in your actions. Each has a job to do. Other things exist for rational beings' sake, like lower things for higher. Rational beings exist for each other. The primary element of human constitution, social connection. The second, resist bodily passions. Rational thought can isolate itself, remain unaffected by physical sensations or appetites. Both are beneath it, animals. It refuses to submit to them, and rightly, it's meant to command. Third, avoid rashness, resist deception. Hold to these, and the mind moves straight toward its goal, which is happiness. Meditation 32. Live as if you'd already lived and were now experiencing bonus time as pure gift. Love what fate assigns you. What could be more fitting? When difficulties come, remember, others face this. What did they do? Complained, made a fuss, blamed fate. Where are they now? Nowhere. Is that what you want? Leave the volatility to volatile people, minds blown about like bodies. Make good use of what happens. It's material to work with. Make yourself approve your own actions. Remember both principles, whatever you do. Look inward. Inside is the fountain of good, ready to flow if you keep digging. Meditation 33. Keep your body steady too. No sprawling, no agitation. What the mind does for the face, keeping it composed and dignified, it should do for the whole body, but naturally not affected. Meditation 34. Living is more like wrestling than dancing. You have to stand ready for what comes at you, unforeseen. Meditation 35. Keep thinking about the people whose approval you want, what their minds are like. Then you won't blame them for their inadvertent errors or feel you need their praise. No soul loses truth unwillingly, or justice, self-control, kindness. Essential to remember this. It makes you gentler with everyone. Meditation 36. When you're in pain, tell yourself, this is nothing to be ashamed of. It doesn't make the mind that steers everything worse. It doesn't damage it, either its rationality or its social nature. In most pains, this from Epicurus might help. It's neither unbearable nor unending, if you keep it in perspective and don't magnify it in your imagination. And this, many things we don't label pain, are just as hard to bear: drowsiness, fever, loss of appetite. When they bother you, tell yourself you're giving in to pain. Meditation 37. Be careful not to feel about inhumanity the way people usually feel about people. Meditation 38. How do we know Socrates was really so special? That he died nobly, argued brilliantly with sophists, survived a freezing night, refused an unjust order to arrest Salaminius, walked the streets with great pride. If he even did, which is questionable and not necessarily admirable if true. What matters is, what kind of soul did he have? Could he be satisfied with being just to people and reverent to the gods, not upset by others' wickedness, not dependent on anyone's ignorance, not treating anything from universal nature as alien or unbearable, not letting his mind get dragged into the body's experiences? Meditation 39. You can be godlike and no one will know. Remember that. And this, you need very little to live a happy life. Just because you'll never be a great logician or scientist doesn't mean you can't be free, decent, unselfish, obedient to God. Meditation 40. You can live out your time in perfect joy, even if people are shouting at you, even if wild animals are tearing at your sad sack of flesh. Nothing stops the mind from keeping itself calm, from judging accurately, from using what's presented. so that judgment can say to whatever happens, "This is what you are, regardless of what you seem." And the mind can say to what it encounters, "You're exactly what I was looking for." It's raw material for virtue, for the rational, social nature. Whatever happens can be embraced as appropriate, an occasion to praise God or benefit people. Everything that happens has a place in the order of things. Nothing is new or hard to handle. Everything familiar and easy to work with. Meditation 41. Perfection of character. Live each day as if it were your last, without frenzy, without apathy, without pretending. Meditation 42. The immortal gods aren't bothered by having to put up with humanity through the ages. They even care for them. And you, so close to death, you give up, especially when you're one of the wrongdoers yourself. Meditation 43. It's funny that you try to escape your own vices, which is possible, but not other people's, which is impossible. Meditation 44. Whenever reason and social spirit encounter something that isn't rational or social, it's right to treat it as inferior. Meditation 45. You've done good to someone. Done. Why look for a third thing on top, recognition or reciprocation? Meditation 46. No one tires of being helped. Helping is natural, so don't tire of helping, of being helped yourself. Meditation 47. Nature planned the world's creation, then created it. Now everything either follows from that plan, or the most important things, the mind of the world's care, follow from the world's reason. Remember this, it will calm you. Book 8. Meditation 1. This will help keep you from vanity. You can never claim to have lived as a philosopher, not even from your youth. Many people know it, you know it yourself. You've fallen far short of philosophy. Your life is compromised. Claiming the title philosopher won't be easy now. Your position works against it too. If you truly understand what matters, forget your reputation. Be satisfied if you can live the rest of your life, however long, the way your nature demands. Focus on what that requires. Let nothing distract you. Experience has taught you how many wrong turns you've taken. Happiness isn't found in logic puzzles, wealth, fame, or self-indulgence. None of that. Where then, in doing what human nature requires? How? With the right principles. Which principles? About good and evil, that the only true good is what makes us just, self-controlled, brave, and free. The only true evil is what does the opposite. Meditation 2. Ask yourself with every action, how will I feel about this afterward? Will I regret it? Soon I'll be dead. Everything ends. What more do I need than to make my present action the work of an intelligent, social being, ruled by the same law that rules God? Meditation 3. Alexander, Caesar, Pompey. What are they compared to Diogenes, Heraclitus, Socrates? Those men understood things, their causes, their substance, and their minds were their own. The others, slaves to their delusions. Meditation 4. They'll go on doing what they do, even if you burst. First, don't let it upset you. Everything happens according to the world's nature. In a little while you'll be nobody, like Africanus, like Augustus. Second, focus on the task. Remember you're obligated to be a good person. Whatever your nature requires, do it without hesitation. Say what seems truest to you, but kindly, modestly, without dishonesty. Meditation 5. Nature's job, shift things from here to there. Change them, move them around. Nothing to be afraid of. It's all familiar and fairly distributed. Meditation 6. Every nature is content when things go well for it. For a rational nature, things go well when it refuses to assent to falsehood or uncertainty, directs its impulses toward the common good, limits its desires and aversions to what's in its control, and embraces what universal nature assigns it. It's part of that larger nature, the way a leaf's nature is part of the plant's, except that a leaf is part of a nature without awareness or reason which can be obstructed. Human nature is part of one that can't be obstructed, intelligent and just, which is why it distributes everything fairly: time, substance, cause, activity, experience. Not that you'll find exact equality in any individual thing, but compare one thing in its entirety with another, and you will. Meditation 7. No time to read. You have time not to be a terrible person, time to rise above pleasure and pain, time to outgrow the lure of fame, time not to be angry at stupid or unpleasant people, even to care about them. Meditation 8. Stop complaining about court life, in public or even to yourself. Meditation 9. Remorse is self-criticism for having passed up something beneficial. The good is beneficial. A good person would value it. But no good person ever regretted passing up pleasure. So pleasure is neither good nor beneficial. Meditation 10. What is this in itself? What's its nature? What's it made of? What's its cause? What's it doing in the world? How long will it last? Ask yourself these questions about everything you encounter. Meditation 11. When you have trouble getting out of bed, remind yourself, I'm getting up to do the work of a human being. Why be irritable about doing what I was born for, what I was brought into the world to do? Was I made for this, to huddle under the blankets and stay warm? It's nice here. Were you born to feel nice? In general, to be acted upon or to act? Look at plants, birds, ants, spiders, bees, all doing their individual work, putting the world in order. And you don't want to do human work. You don't run toward what your nature demands. Meditation 12. As each image or thought presents itself, examine it, if possible, for what it truly is. Meditation 13. When you meet someone, ask yourself immediately, what does this person think is good? What's evil? If they think pleasure and pain, fame and disgrace, death and life are good or bad, it shouldn't surprise you when they act accordingly. They can't help it given their beliefs. Remember, it's as absurd to be surprised that a fig tree produces figs as to be surprised that the world produces what it produces. It's shameful for a doctor to be surprised when someone has a fever or a ship's captain when the wind turns. Meditation 14. Remember, changing your mind when someone sets you straight is as consistent with freedom as insisting you were right all along. It's your judgment, your decision, your mind, and your action. Meditation 15. If it's in your control, why complain? Do something about it. If it's not in your control, something atoms or gods are responsible for, who are you blaming? Blaming either one is insane. Blame no one. If you can fix it, fix it. If you can't, what's the point of complaining? Nothing should be done without purpose. Meditation 16. What dies and falls doesn't leave the world. It stays here, changes here, dissolves into its elements, the world's elements, your elements. And they change without complaining. Why should you? Meditation 17. Everything was made for a purpose. A horse, a vine. Why does that surprise you? Even the sun will tell you, I was made for something. So will every god. And you, what were you made for? Lounging. Look at how unacceptable reason finds that. Meditation 18. Nature aims at an end in everything. In the beginning, the middle, and the end of every life. Meditation 19. Like a ball thrown in the air. Is it better if it goes up, worse when it falls, better when it hits the ground? What does a bubble gain by lasting? What does it lose by bursting? The same with a candle. Meditation 20. Turn it inside out. See what it's like, what it becomes when it's old, sick, corrupted. They don't last long, the praiser and the praised, the one who remembers and the one remembered. Remembered in some corner of this corner, and even there no consensus, even to themselves. The whole earth is a point in space. Meditation 21. Focus on the object, or the principle, or the action, or the meaning. You deserve this. You'd rather become good tomorrow than be good today. Meditation 22. I do my job. The rest doesn't distract me. It's inanimate, irrational, or lost. Meditation 23. By one action judge all the rest. This bathing, oil, sweat, dirt, greasy water, all of it disgusting. Every part of life, every object. Meditation 24. Lucilla buried Verus. Then Lucilla was buried. Secunda buried Maximus. Then Secunda. Epitintianus buried Diotimus. Then Epitintianus. Antoninus buried Faustina. Then Antoninus. It never changes. Sella buried Hadrian. Then Sella. Where are the great seers, the proud, the clever? Charax, Demetrius the Platonist, Eudaemon and the rest. One-day creatures, long dead, some immediately forgotten, others decayed into legends, others now not even legends. Remember, your components will scatter, the breath will dissipate, or relocate. Meditation 25. Human joy, doing what humans were made for. And what were we made for? To be kind to people like ourselves, to rise above our physical impulses, to distinguish truth from plausible fiction, to study nature and what happens in it. 3 relationships, to the immediate cause, to the original cause, God, to the people we live with, how we can help them. Meditation 26. Pain is neither unbearable nor unending if you keep it in perspective. Don't magnify it in your imagination. And keep in mind, many things cause you pain without your recognizing them as pain. Drowsiness, fever, loss of appetite. When those bother you, tell yourself you're giving in to pain. Meditation 27. Make sure you don't feel about misanthropes the way they feel about people. Meditation 28. How do we know Socrates was really so remarkable that he died admirably, argued with sophists, survived freezing nights, refused to arrest Salaminius, walked the streets with great self-regard, if that's even true, and questionable whether it's praiseworthy? What matters is, what was his soul like? Could he be content with being just to people and reverent to gods, not outraged at evil, not dependent on ignorance, not treating anything from nature as alien or unbearable, not letting his mind be dragged along by his body's experiences? Meditation 29. Nature formed you as part of itself. You can live happily with very little. And if you never become a logician or scientist, you can still be generous, honest, self-controlled, obedient to God. Meditation 30. You can live free and untroubled even if everyone's shouting at you, even if wild beasts are tearing at your body. Nothing prevents the mind from remaining calm, from judging accurately, from using what presents itself. So judgment can say of an event, "This is what you are, despite appearances." And response, "This is what I was looking for." The present can always be material for virtue, for the rational, social nature. In short, for praising God or helping people. Meditation 31. Don't let your mind be passive. Don't think you need peace from external sources. You need to supply your own. Not straightened, upright. Meditation 32. What is this thing in itself? What's it for? What's it made of? How long does it last? Meditation 33. When you wake, ask yourself, does it matter if other people blame you for doing what's right? It doesn't matter. Have you forgotten what people who are wild with praise or blame are like in bed, at the table, their other behavior? What they do, what they avoid, what they chase. How they steal and scheme, not with hands but with their inmost selves. Meditation 34. Nature gives and takes back. To say, take what you want to nature takes courage, not in a spirit of defiance, just good nature, cooperation. Meditation 35. Your remaining time is short. Live as on a mountain. It makes no difference whether here or there. If wherever you are, you experience the world as a city. Let them see a real human being, living naturally. If they can't, let them kill you, better than living their way. Meditation 36. Stop discussing what a good person is like. Be one. Meditation 37. Constant thought, the nature of the whole, my nature, their relationship, what the whole is designed for, what I'm designed for. Meditation 38. Xanthippe criticizing Socrates, Socrates dying, his students squabbling. Cato at Utica, Cicero killed, Augustus oppressing. The whole show, all of it over, gone. Look at those old epitaphs, last of his line. Think of the anxiety their ancestors felt to ensure a successor, but someone had to be last. There, another whole line, extinguished. Meditation 39. Your life should be a succession of acts, each one complete. If each fulfills its purpose, as far as possible, that's enough. No one can keep you from that. But some external obstacle. It can't block justice, self-control, reason. But some other action might be blocked. Maybe, but accepting the obstacle and adapting creates a new action, compatible with the life you're describing. Meditation 40. Accept success without arrogance. Let it go without clinging. Meditation 41. You've seen a severed hand, a foot, a head cut off lying somewhere away from the body. That's what we do to ourselves when we rebel against what happens, when we separate ourselves, or when we act selfishly. You've mutilated yourself, but you can change that, a gift the gods gave no other limb. A severed hand can't reattach itself, but you can. Meditation 42. Nature gives everything and takes it back. To say, accept what you give to her takes intelligence, not in defiance, just good sense, partnership. Meditation 43. Is this really necessary? Is this what a good person would say, an honest person? Meditation 44. Things external don't touch the soul. Your disturbance comes from internal judgments. Meditation 45. Everything that happens is either endurable or not. If it's endurable, endure it. Stop complaining. If it's unendurable, you'll die. Stop complaining about that too. Meditation 46. Remember, the mind is unconquerable when it collects itself and is satisfied with itself. It doesn't do anything against its will, even if its resistance is irrational. How much more when its judgment is careful and deliberate, A mind free from passions is a fortress. People have no stronger place of refuge. Whoever hasn't seen this is ignorant. Whoever has but doesn't seek refuge, there is unlucky. Meditation 47. Stick with first impressions. Don't extrapolate. Someone says you're being criticized. That's the report. That it's hurt you is extrapolation. I see my child is sick. I see that. I don't see that his life is in danger. Stay with first impressions. Add nothing, or add, but only as someone who knows how things work in the world. Meditation 48. The cucumber is bitter. Put it down. There are thorns in the path. Go around. That's enough. Don't go on to say, why do things like this exist? Students of nature would laugh at you, the way a carpenter or cobbler would if you complained about finding shavings in their shop. Yet they have a dustbin. Nature has no dustbin. That's the wonder of her art, that despite having set herself boundaries, she can transform what's decayed or old or useless into new material. So she doesn't need an external source of material or a place to dump waste. Her own space, her own materials, her own artistry. Meditation 49. Not to be aimless in action, not argumentative in conversation, not unfocused in thought, not turned inward or outward too intensely, not so busy you have no life. They want to kill me, cut my flesh, curse me. So your mind can stay pure, sane, self-controlled, just like clear water in a spring. Someone can curse it, throw in mud and dung. It disperses them, stays clear. How an unceasing flow, not a cistern. How do I develop that? By working constantly toward freedom, goodness, simplicity, humility. Meditation 50. Whoever doesn't know what the world is doesn't know where they are. Whoever doesn't know the world's purpose doesn't know who they are or what the world is. Someone who lacks either peace doesn't know what they're here for. What do you make of someone who cares about the applause of people like that? People who don't know where or what they are. Meditation 51. You want the praise of someone who curses themselves 3 times an hour. Self-approval from someone who doesn't approve of themselves. Someone who regrets almost everything they do. Meditation 52. Not just shared breath, but shared thought. Rational thought is as diffused and available as air for those who can draw it in. Meditation 53. Evil in general doesn't harm the world. Particular evil harms only the one who does it, who can stop anytime. Meditation 54. Other people's choices don't affect me unless I let them. Meditation 55. The sun's light is poured down, but not poured out. Its diffusion is extension. Watch sunlight through a narrow opening into a dark room. It extends in a straight line, strikes any solid object that blocks it, and stays there, doesn't slide off or fall. That's how the mind's radiance should work. Not an explosion, but an extension. Meeting obstacles with patience, not violence. Not collapsing, but shining, giving light to what can receive it. What doesn't receive it cuts itself off. It's loss. Meditation 56. Fear of death. Fear of no sensation or of different sensations. But if there's no sensation, there's no sense of anything bad. And if sensations are different, you're a different being, not dead. Meditation 57. People exist for one another. Teach them or tolerate them. Meditation 58. An arrow has one trajectory. The mind can reach its target by a circular route. Meditation 59. Enter others' minds. Let them enter yours. Book 9. Meditation 1. Injustice is a kind of blasphemy. Nature designed rational beings for each other, to help, not harm, according to their worth. To transgress against that design is to commit sacrilege against the oldest of the gods, because universal nature is the nature of all that exists, and what exists now is related to everything that came before. She's also called truth, the source of all truths. The liar sins deliberately. The unintentional liar sins by deviating from universal nature, disrupting the world's order. Anyone who pursues pleasure as good and avoids pain as evil is guilty of blasphemy. Such a person necessarily accuses nature of unfairly distributing pleasure and pain, often giving pleasure to the bad and pain to the good. And whoever fears pain will eventually fear something that's bound to happen. That's blasphemy. Whoever pursues pleasure won't stop at injustice. Obviously blasphemous. Some things are neutral to nature. She created both, so both must be neutral to her. Those who want to live naturally must be neutral too. If you're not indifferent to pleasure and pain, death and life, fame and disgrace, things nature uses indifferently, you're clearly committing blasphemy. Nature uses them indifferently, means they happen in the ordinary course of events, necessary consequences of creation, according to Providence's original plan. Meditation 2. It would be better to leave life, having lived free from deception, pretense, self-indulgence, and arrogance. But the next best thing is to depart disgusted by them. Or would you rather stay with vice? Experience hasn't taught you to avoid the plague. Mental corruption is a far worse plague than any contaminated air. One affects us as animals, the other as human beings. Meditation 3. Don't treat death contemptuously. Welcome it. It's one of nature's designs. Dissolution is as natural as adolescence. Old age, growth, maturity, teeth, beard, grey hair, conception, pregnancy, birth, all the stages of life. A thoughtful person doesn't approach death arrogantly, impatiently, or scornfully, but waits for it as just another of nature's processes. The way you wait for a baby to come out of your wife's womb, that's how you should wait for the hour when your soul will slip this casing. Or if you need something less philosophical, more vulgar but effective, to reconcile you to death, the best thing is to look at what you're leaving behind, at the kinds of people you'll no longer be involved with. Not that you should find them offensive, quite the contrary, care for them, treat them gently. But remember, you won't be freed from people who share your beliefs. That's the only thing that might make you want to stay, if you could live with people who shared your convictions. As it is, you see how tiring it is to live in confusion, so much so that you might say, "Come quickly, death, before I forget myself too." Meditation 4. The person who does wrong wrongs themselves. The unjust person makes themselves unjust. And by not doing something, by omission, you can also be unjust. Meditation 5. Enough if your present judgment is grounded in understanding, your present action grounded in unselfishness, and your present disposition happy with whatever happens, as assigned by universal causality. Meditation 6. Erase imagination, restrain impulse, extinguish desire, let the mind govern itself. Meditation 7. A single soul runs through all irrational creatures, a single intelligent soul distributed among rational ones. One earth for all earthly things, one light we see by, one air we breathe, all of us who see and breathe. What shares in something is drawn to its own kind. Earthly things gravitate toward earth. Liquids flow together. Air does the same. They require force to keep them apart. Fire rises toward elemental fire. so ready to ignite that anything not thoroughly damp is easily kindled. What shares in rational nature is just as drawn, more so, to its own kind. To the degree it's superior, it's more disposed to mingle and fuse with its own. Among irrational animals you find swarms, flocks, nesting, something like love. They have souls, however limited, and that natural drive toward unity is proportionally stronger, more advanced than plants, rocks, trees. Among rational beings, governments, friendships, families, public gatherings, even in war, treaties and truces. Among higher forms still, the stars, unity exists despite distance. Shared excellence can create sympathy even at vast remove. But now look what's happened. Rational beings are the only ones who have forgotten this natural affection. You don't see them flowing together, but though they flee, they're still trapped. Nature wins. Watch closely and you'll see. You'll sooner find something earthly with no earth in it than a person who's genuinely isolated. Meditation 8. Man, God, the world, all bear fruit. Each has its season. Common usage restricts fruit to vines and the like, but the principle holds. Reason bears fruit, both communal and individual, and breeds more of itself in others. Meditation 9. Teach them better if you can. If not, remember, that's what tolerance is for. The gods are patient with such people. In some things, health, wealth, fame, even help them. Such is their goodness. And it's in your power too, or what's stopping you. Meditation 10. Don't work like someone miserable or seeking pity or admiration. One aim, to act or refrain from action as the common good requires. Meditation 11. Today I escaped all circumstance, or rather, I cast out all circumstance. It wasn't outside me, but within, in my assumptions. Meditation 12. The same old things, timeless and familiar, shoddy and short-lived, now as in the time of those we've buried. Meditation 13. Things stand outside us, themselves by themselves. They know nothing about themselves. They report nothing about themselves. What reports on them? Our own minds. Meditation 14. For rational, social beings, good and bad lie in action, not in experience. Meditation 15. For the stone thrown up, no harm in falling, no benefit in rising. Meditation 16. Enter their minds. See what they are, the people you fear, whose judgment you crave. Meditation 17. All things are changing. You too are in constant flux, dying in some sense. The universe likewise. Meditation 18. Someone else's sin. Why let it bother you? Let them deal with it. Meditation 19. Completing something has an end. Withdrawing judgment is also an end, like a kind of death. No harm in either. Look at your life in stages. Child, youth, young adult, old age, each ending a kind of death. Any cause for alarm, now extend it to your grandfather's life, your mother's, your father's. How many endings, changes, cessations? Ask yourself, where's the harm? And so with the close and dissolution of your whole life. Nothing to fear there either. Meditation 20. Run, not away, but toward. Your own mind, reason. The mind of all universal reason. Or the mind of this particular person you're dealing with. Your own, that it judges rightly. Universal, to remember you're part of it. Theirs, to distinguish ignorance from knowledge, and to remember they're your kin. Meditation 21. You were made to contribute to a common project. Every action should advance social life. Actions disconnected from that goal, directly or indirectly, are dysfunctional, like the citizen who cuts himself off from civic unity. Meditation 22. Children's tantrums, slaves carrying corpses, like the funeral dirge says. Meditation 23. Examine the quality of the cause, strip away the material, consider the time limits, how long can it last? Meditation 24. You've put yourself through endless difficulties by not letting your mind do its job, what it was made for. Meditation 25. When people injure you, slander you, hate you, go to their minds, see inside. You'll see what kind of people they are and realize there's no reason to strain yourself trying to make a particular impression on them. But you have to care about them. They're your relatives. The gods help them in their endeavors, through dreams, oracles, even toward ends you disapprove of. Meditation 26. The world's cycles are the same, up and down, age after age. Either universal mind wills each thing individually, in which case accept it, or it willed once, and everything follows from that. Either way, atoms bouncing or unity. If God exists, all is well. If atoms, don't be one yourself, blown about randomly. Soon Earth will cover us all. Then Earth itself will change. Then those changes will change endlessly. Waves of transformation, one after another, on and on. Anyone who considers the rushing cataract of change, and its swift current, will hold all mortal things in contempt. Meditation 27. The world's substance, like a river's current, unstoppable. Those famous philosophers, so solemn, so pompous, what frauds. Do what nature demands. Get a move on if you can. Don't look around to see if people know. Don't expect Plato's Republic. Be satisfied with the smallest progress and treat even that as no small thing. Can any of them change others' minds? Without a change of mind, what are you looking at but groaning slaves, sheepish obedience? Go ahead, cite Alexander, Philip, Demetrius of Phalerum. Did they understand what nature required? Could they control themselves? Their choice. If they swaggered around, I don't have to imitate them. Philosophy is modest, unassuming. Don't turn me into a showman. Meditation 28. Look down from above. Flocks, ceremonies, voyages in storm and calm, live starting and ending. Consider who lived before you, who will live after, who lives now in foreign lands. How many don't even know your name? How many will soon forget it? How many praise you now but will soon blame you? Fame, honor, worthless. What's left? This doing good to people, accepting what happens from the source you came from, living the time you have, however brief, in truth and justice, with tolerance for liars and criminals. Meditation 29. You can cut out a lot of unnecessary worries. They exist only in your mind. Clear plenty of room for yourself by grasping the whole world in thought, contemplating infinite time, considering the speed of change in each thing. How brief from birth to dissolution, the infinity before, the equal infinity after. Meditation 30. Everything you see will soon vanish. Those who see it vanish will vanish themselves. Die at 100 or die young, it comes to the same. Meditation 31. What are they pursuing? What would they avoid? How are they thinking? Imagine their souls laid bare. When they think they're hurting you with criticism or flattering you with praise, what self-satisfaction? Meditation 32. Loss is nothing but change. Universal nature delights in change, the medium of all her works. Things have always changed and always will. Should we say things have always gone wrong and always will? That despite all the gods, no divine power could set things right, that the world is condemned to endless evil. Meditation 33. Rotting matter, base materials, water, dust, bones, a repulsive concoction, marble, a lump in the earth, gold and silver, sediment, your fine clothes, animal hair, purple dye, shellfish blood. Your life's breath, the same, drawn in and expelled, transformed from one state to another. Meditation 34. Complaining, whining, worrying, when will it end? What's troubling you? Something new, look at it. Or the same old thing, look at it. Or is it your relationship with the gods? Time to approach them with more honesty and simplicity. Meditation 35. 100 years or 3, what's the difference? Meditation 36. If they've done wrong, the harm is theirs. Maybe they haven't. Meditation 37. Either providence guides particular events, and you shouldn't complain about what helps the whole, or atoms rule, and life is random confusion. Why worry yourself? Meditation 38. Does your mind still function? Then what are you complaining about? That your body's dying? Do you expect it to digest food, move around, feel desires? It's an animal body. Of course it dies. Meditation 39. The gods can help us, or they can't. If they can't, why pray? If they can, why not pray for the ability not to fear or desire externals? Why not pray to accept their presence or absence calmly, rather than praying to obtain or avoid them? If the gods can help with anything, they can help with that. But those things are up to me. Then use your freedom for freedom itself, to free your mind rather than enslave it to things outside your control. And who says the gods don't help us even with things in our control? Try it, pray for it, see what happens. One person prays, let me sleep with her. You, let me not want to. Another, let me be rid of him. You, let me not need to be. Another, let me not lose my child. You, let me not fear losing him. Redirect your prayers, see what happens. Meditation 40. Epicurus. In my illness, my conversations weren't about my body, nor did I discuss symptoms with visitors. I kept to my principles about nature's work, and particularly this: how the mind, while sharing in the body's movements, can preserve its calm and its own good. Nor did I let doctors puff themselves up, as if doing something important. Do the same. In sickness or other crises, don't let go of philosophy. Don't get caught up in uneducated chatter and conventional views. Meditation 41. Focus only on the work and its tools. Meditation 42. When offended by someone's shamelessness, ask, can the world exist without shameless people? It can't, so don't ask for the impossible. This person is one of those shameless people the world can't exist without. The same with the cunning, the dishonest, all of them. Remember that the type must exist. That makes you more tolerant of individuals. Useful too, what virtue has nature given us to counter this vice? Kindness for rudeness, other virtues for other failings. And you can always teach the lost. Everyone who fails has missed the target, gone astray. Besides, how have they harmed you? You'll find that none of these people has damaged your mind. That's where harm and evil exist, nowhere else. What's the problem then? What's so terrible about an ignorant person doing ignorant things? Shouldn't you blame yourself? When you had good reason to think they'd do this, you didn't just fail to anticipate it, you're surprised. When dealing with the untrustworthy or unkind, you've helped them. Did you expect more? Wasn't doing good its own reward? The eye doesn't demand payment for seeing, the feet for walking. That's what they're for. The same with human beings. We are made to help others. When we help them, by correcting error or just with material things, we're doing what we were designed for. We've done our job. Why should we expect anything more? Book 10. Meditation 1. One day, my soul, you'll be good, simple, unified, more visible than the body enclosing you. You'll know the happiness of those who love, whose passions are dead to the world. You'll need nothing external. You won't seek pleasure from anything alive or dead. You won't need more time to enjoy it, or the right place, or good weather, or the right people. You'll be satisfied with your present situation. Everything will contribute to that satisfaction. You'll believe you have everything, all good, all from the God's providence. And for the future, too, everything will be fine, tending toward the perfection of God, life itself, goodness, beauty. Who creates everything, contains everything, gathers everything that dissolves back to create more like it. That's the disposition you'll reach, neither complaining about gods or people, nor doing anything deserving condemnation. Meditation 2. Live by nature. See what it requires generally. Then do it if your nature as a living being won't be degraded. Next, see what your nature as a living being requires. Accept all of that, unless your nature as a rational being would be degraded. And rational means social. Follow these guidelines. No need for anything else. Meditation 3. Everything that happens, you're equipped by nature to bear it, or you're not. If you are, don't complain. Bear it as you were designed to. If you're not, don't complain about that either. It will destroy you, then be destroyed itself. Remember, you can bear anything your judgment deems bearable and tolerable by seeing it as interest or duty. Meditation 4. If they've done wrong, teach them kindly, show them where they went wrong. If you can't, blame yourself, or don't even blame yourself. Meditation 5. Whatever happens to you was prepared for you in advance, from the beginning of time. The chain of causation has always included both your existence and this. Meditation 6. Atoms or providence, the choice is simple. If providence, don't resist it. If atoms, remember, you're part of a system governed by nature, and that you're related to the other parts. As a part, I won't resent what's assigned by the whole. Nothing harmful to the whole can be harmful to the part. The whole contains nothing harmful to itself. No nature has that. So as part of that whole, I'll accept whatever happens. And because I'm related to other parts, I'll do nothing selfish. I'll aim at what we share, the common good, and avoid its opposite. If I do all that, my life will flow smoothly, as you'd consider a citizen's life successful if it benefits fellow citizens, and they welcome it. Meditation 7. All parts of the world must at some point decay. Decay, or call it transformation, to be precise. If that's both harmful and inevitable, the whole would be poorly designed, its parts subject to harm, built to fail. Did nature deliberately make things to suffer, or didn't she know what she was doing? Either is absurd. Or take things individually by their own natures. How absurd to say they're subject to change, then be surprised when they change. When someone gets sick and dies, as if that was strange. Dissolution just returns things to their elements. Dispersal or transformation, the solid into earth, the ethereal into air. Nothing vanishes. Everything's taken back into the world's rational seeds. The universe either burns up periodically or renews through continuous change. Don't imagine the solid and the ethereal in you are what you were born with. It's all come recently, from food yesterday, air the day before. What changes is what you've taken in, not what your mother gave you. Even if we're deeply identified with the original stuff, so what? It doesn't change the point. Meditation 8. Take on these attributes, Thought, integration, transcendence. Thought, intelligent consideration of every impression, without distraction. Integration, cheerful acceptance of what universal nature assigns. Transcendence, rising above bodily pleasure and pain, status, death, and everything else indifferent, not worth a wise person's concern. Hold to these and you won't care what others call you. You'll be a new person beginning a new life. To stay as you've been in the life you've led, torn apart, polluted, is stupid. Clinging to life like the fighters in the arena, mangled and bloody, begging for one more day to face the same claws and teeth. Set sail. If you can hold to these qualities, or live in them, stay joyful as if transporting to the isles of the blessed. If you feel yourself slipping, retreat to some corner where you'll have better control, or exit life altogether, not in anger, calmly, freely, with dignity. This one achievement would justify your whole life. To remember these qualities, remember the gods often. They don't want flattery, they want us to be like them. The fig tree does what a fig tree does. The dog what a dog does. The bee what a bee does. People should do what people do. Meditation 9. Sloppiness and jokes, crises abroad and terror at home, arrogance and stupidity, your daily slavery. Your sacred principles will fade unless you're careful. How many objects you examine as a scientist, their nature, but nothing more. You should combine contemplation with action. Attend to the task at hand carefully while fully aware of the theoretical knowledge behind it, so you don't lose the joy of understanding things as they are. When will you find happiness in true simplicity? In the comprehensive knowledge of each thing's nature, what it is, its place in the world, how long it lasts, what it's made of, who can possess it, who can give it and receive it. Meditation 10. The spider's proud when it catches a fly. People proud when they catch a rabbit, a fish, a boar, a bear. Proud of fighting Sarmatians. Scratch the surface, and they're all hunters. Meditation 11. Study the process of change, one thing into another. Constant meditation on it. Nothing trains you for greatness like this. Meditation 12. He's broken free from his body. Realizing he'll soon leave everything behind, he devotes himself completely to just action and to universal nature. No concern for what others say or think or do. Two things only: justice in action, acceptance of what's assigned. He drops everything else, doesn't deviate, follows reason and God. That's his work. Meditation 13. Why be suspicious? Why worry about the future? If you need to act, investigate. If you can see clearly yourself, go ahead. If not, stop and get the best advice available. If something else blocks you, proceed carefully with the resources you have, keeping to what seems right. Missing that target is the only real failure. Hitting it is the only success. Meditation 14. Slow yet swift, serious yet cheerful, the person who follows reason. Meditation 15. On waking, before you're affected by impressions or externals, ask yourself, does it matter whether I do what's right or someone else does? No, it doesn't. Have you forgotten what these people are like, in bed, at table, and everywhere else? What they do, what they avoid, what they steal with their minds, though not their hands. Meditation 16. Give and take as you wish, says the student to the teacher, not defiantly, humbly, in love and submission. Meditation 17. Live indifferent to the world, as though you live alone on a mountain. Here or there, if the whole world is one city, location doesn't matter. Let them see someone truly living by nature. If they can't handle it, let them kill you. better than living as they do. Meditation 18. Stop talking about what a good person is like. Be one. Meditation 19. Keep before you the age and substance of the world, how small each thing is by comparison, how brief its existence. Seeds and the pestille's single turn. See each object as already dissolving, in decay, transforming, putrefying. Everything dying its own particular death. Meditation 20. Think about people eating, sleeping, having sex, defecating. How proud they are, how angry. How they order others around from their thrones. A moment ago they were slaves to necessity. Soon they'll be slaves to death. Meditation 21. What universal nature brings each person is best for them, and best when she brings it. Meditation 22. The earth longs for rain, the sky longs to fall, the world has affection for what will be. I say to it, I feel the same. Isn't that what things love to happen means? Meditation 23. You either stay in life, which you're used to, or you leave, which you chose, or your life is cut short, having completed your assignment. One of those three, so relax. Meditation 24. Keep clear, solitary places and mountains aren't really different from living in cities. Everywhere it's the same. You can retreat into yourself anywhere, quieter and more private than a shepherd's hut on a hillside. Ask yourself there, what's my ruling principle? What am I making of it? How am I using it? Is it empty of reason, separated from the community, so entangled with the body that it moves as the body moves? Meditation 25. Running from your master makes you a fugitive. The law is everyone's master. Breaking it makes you a fugitive. Grief, anger, fear, these also make you a fugitive. Rebelling against what's happened is happening or will happen by the will of what governs everything. That will is law. Resisting it makes you a fugitive. Meditation 26. Seed deposited in the womb, then man has nothing more to do with it. Another process takes over, creating, miraculously, a child. Food down the throat, then man has nothing to do with it. Another process distributes it. Sensation, movement, life, strength. So many things from such simple inputs. Observe this hidden work. See the power behind it, not with your eyes, but as clearly as you see any cause of motion. Meditation 27. Constantly consider, things now are as they've always been. They'll be the same in the future. Picture entire courts, entire eras. Hadrian's court, Antoninus's, Philip's, Alexander's, Croesus's. All the same drama, different actors. Meditation 28. Picture everyone who grieves or protests as a pig squealing under the knife. Or the person alone in bed, silently bemoaning fate. Rational beings can submit willingly to necessity, but all of us submit, no choice about that. Meditation 29. Whatever you're doing, ask yourself, will death make this impossible? Is that why it seems terrible? Meditation 30. When offended by someone's mistake, ask immediately, what similar mistakes do I make? Thinking money is good, pleasure, fame, etc. This thought will defuse your anger, especially when you add, they couldn't help it. How could they, believing what they do? If you can, remove what's forcing them to act this way. Meditation 31. When you see Saturn, picture Socraticus or Eutyches or Hymen. Euphrates, think of Eutychian or Sylvanus. Alciphron, Tropiophorus. Xenophon, Crito or Severus. When you look at yourself, picture one of the Caesars. For everyone, some equivalent. Then ask, where are they now? Nowhere, anywhere, smoke and ashes, nothing. And remember, whatever changes will never exist again while the world lasts. You, how long will you last? Why isn't it enough to pass your brief time virtuously? Meditation 32. What material you're avoiding. And yet, these things are perfect material for the understanding to work with. Be patient until you've absorbed them completely, like a strong stomach turning everything into nutrition, like a fire turning everything into flame and light. Meditation 33. Don't let anyone truthfully say, you're not honest, not sincere, not good. Whoever thinks that is wrong, it's all up to you. Who can stop you from being sincere or good? Just decide. You'd rather not live than not be those things. Reason doesn't require you to live as something else. Given that, what could you say or do right now? That's honest, good, in line with human nature. Whatever it is, you can do it or say it. Don't make excuses about obstacles. You'll complain until doing what your nature requires gives you the pleasure others find in self-indulgence. You should find pleasure in acting according to your nature, and you can do that anywhere. A cylinder can't always roll where it wants, nor water, nor fire, nor anything else governed by nature alone, or nature plus non-rational sensation. Too many obstacles. But mind and thought have a power nature gave them. They move through every obstacle, however they choose, by their own nature. Picture the mind's happiness, this ability to pass through everything, like fire rising, stone falling, cylinder rolling downhill. That's enough, seek nothing else. Other obstacles affect only the body, dead weight, until judgment makes them real. The mind alone decides what's harmful. Otherwise, whoever encounters them would become worse. In all other things, what harms them makes them worse. But here, if we use them right, we become better, more praiseworthy. Remember, nothing harms a citizen that doesn't harm the city. Nothing harms the city that doesn't harm the law. None of these misfortunes harm the law, the principle of justice that maintains society. They harm neither city nor citizen. Meditation 34. For someone grasped by truth, the briefest, most random saying is a reminder, enough to dispel grief and fear. Like leaves that the wind drives earthward, such are the generations of men. Your children leaves. Those who praise you so earnestly, or curse you, or silently criticize, leaves as well. And those who will preserve your fame, leaves. All spring up in spring. The wind blows and they're gone. New ones grow in their place. Brief existence, the common thread. Yet you chase some things and flee others as if they'd last forever. A little while and your eyes close. Someone carries you to your grave. Soon they're being mourned themselves. Meditation 35. A healthy eye sees everything visible, not just green things. That's a diseased eye. Healthy hearing, healthy smell, receptive to all sounds, all scents. A healthy stomach accepts all food. A millstone grinds whatever it's designed for. So a healthy mind is ready for anything. The mind that says, I hope my children live, or I hope everyone praises me, is like eyes that only want green or teeth that only want soft food. Meditation 36. No one's so fortunate in death that everyone present won't be relieved. Even the virtuous, the wise, someone will think, at last, no more of that teacher. He didn't bother us much, but I could tell he judged us. That's for the virtuous. For us, so many reasons people would be glad to be rid of us. Think about that when you die. You'll leave more easily, thinking, I'm leaving a world where even my close friends, the people I struggled for, prayed for, cared for, even they want me dead, hoping life will be easier without me. Why would anyone cling to life? And yet, don't be less kind to them. Keep being a friend, generous, good-natured. Don't act like you're being torn away. Like those who die peacefully, their soul slipping easily from their body. That's how you should feel about leaving them. Nature joined you. Now she separates you. I'm ready, as if leaving friends and family, but without resistance or force. This too is natural. Meditation 37. Make it a habit. When you see someone act, ask, what's their purpose? Start with yourself. Examine your own motives first. Meditation 38. Remember, what moves you and controls your impulses isn't what's outside, it's the beliefs inside. The beliefs are rhetoric. The beliefs are life. The beliefs, in a sense, are you. As for your body and its attachments, like a carpenter's tools, don't let them trouble your thoughts. They're useless without the internal force that moves and restrains them. No more use than a shuttle without a weaver, a pen without a writer, a whip without a driver. Book 11. Meditation 1. The rational soul's natural properties and privileges. It sees itself, it directs itself, it makes itself what it wants to be, it harvests its own fruit. Plants and animals produce fruit for others, not themselves. Whenever and wherever life ends, it achieves its purpose. It's not like a dance or a play that's ruined if interrupted. At any point, cut off at any moment, the work stands complete. The soul can say, I have what I came for. The soul surveys the whole world, sees through to its emptiness, and reaches out to encompass infinity. It grasps the periodic return of all things to their original state, and sees clearly. Those who come after us will see nothing new. Those before us saw nothing more. A 40-year-old with any intelligence has seen everything, past and future. Because it's all the same. Also characteristic, to love your neighbor, to value truth and integrity above all, nothing to come before it, which is also the essence of law. Correct reasoning and justice are identical. Justice is the goal that rational beings should aim at. Meditation 2. A song you love, a dance, athletic competition. You can learn to despise them by analyzing component parts. The song, break it into individual notes. For each one, ask yourself, does this note overpower me? You'll be embarrassed to admit it. The dance, each movement, each gesture, the athletic event, the same. In all things except virtue, whatever proceeds from virtue, you can defeat their grip by division, by analyzing the parts until you see the whole for what it is. Apply this to your entire life. Meditation 3. How blessed the soul that stands ready, even now, to be released from the body, whether to extinction, dispersion, or survival elsewhere. This readiness shouldn't come from defiant opposition, like the Christians, but from reflection, rational, serious, persuasive to others, without drama. Meditation 4. Have I done good for someone? Then I've benefited. Keep that always in mind. Never stop thinking it. What's your calling? To be good. And how do you achieve that? Through principles about the universe's nature and human nature specifically. Meditation 5. Tragedies were invented to remind us that these things happen, that they're natural, that what delights us on stage shouldn't devastate us on the larger stage of the world. You see how it ends. Even people crying, "Oh, Scythian," must bear it like everyone else. The plays contain useful things. For example, If I and my children have been neglected by the gods, there's a reason, and no point in raging at circumstances, and life harvested like ripe wheat. Then came the old comedy, with its freedom to attack personal vice. Its frankness served a useful purpose, keeping pride in check. Diogenes adopted the same liberty. Then the middle and new comedies, basically for entertainment, clever imitation. They contain some useful bits. It all gets stolen. Watch out. But what's their overall purpose? Just what we said. Meditation 6. How obvious it is. No other life would suit a philosopher's practice better than the one you're living right now. Meditation 7. A branch cut from the adjacent branch must be cut from the whole tree. A person divided from another is divided from the whole community. A branch is cut by someone else, but people who hate cut themselves off, not realizing they're cutting themselves off from the whole social organism. Yet here's the gift God gave us, the founder of this community. We can reattach ourselves, become part of the whole again. But repeated separations make reconnection harder. The branch grafted back in isn't like the one that grew there originally, still joined to the vine. Meditation 8. Grow together in harmony and affection, but not in opinions. Those who oppose your right actions can't stop you from acting rightly. Don't let them stop you from loving them either. Guard both equally, your judgment and action and your kindness toward them, toward those who try to stop you or resent what you've done. Failing either way is weakness, either giving up the action out of fear or abandoning your natural affection for someone who is, by nature, your relative and friend. Meditation 9. Nature can't be inferior to art. All arts imitate nature. If so, the most perfect and comprehensive nature couldn't fall short of artistic skill. All arts make inferior things for the sake of superior ones. So does universal nature. That's where justice begins. All other virtues flow from justice. Justice can't be maintained if we care about externals, get fooled easily, or act rashly and inconsistently. Meditation 10. The things you're chasing or fleeing from, they aren't coming to you. In a sense, you're going to them. Let your judgment about them rest. They'll stay put, quiet. Then the chasing and fleeing will stop. Meditation 11. The soul is like a sphere, Empedocles' image, when it's unified, not reaching out greedily, not contracting inward, not sprawling flat. Shining with the light that reveals reality, the universe's and its own. Meditation 12. Will people despise me? Let them see to that. Their reasons are their business. I'll make sure I'm never doing or saying anything contemptible. Will they hate me? Their business. I'll be kind and charitable to everyone, ready to show them their mistake, gently, without reproach or showing off, like Phocion if he wasn't being ironic. That's the inner work. The gods see inside, see someone free from resentment and complaint. What harm can they do you if you're doing what your nature requires? You're designed to do what the common good needs now. Accept what universal nature provides now. Meditation 13. They despise one another, yet seek to please one another. They compete for superiority while prostituting their better selves to each other. Meditation 14. How rotten and dishonest. I've decided to be honest with you from now on. What are you doing? Why announce it? The thing speaks for itself. It should be written on your forehead. Your voice should show it. Your eyes should show it. The way a lover knows immediately what their beloved is thinking. The honest, good person should be like someone whose armpits stink. Anyone nearby knows it immediately, whether they want to or not. Affected honesty isn't praiseworthy. Nothing's more contemptible than fake friendship. Above all, avoid that. True goodness, honesty, kindness can't be hidden. As we said, they show in your eyes. Meditation 15. Living happily is the soul's inner power. It comes when you're indifferent to indifferent things. Achieve this by seeing things whole and divided. Remember, no object creates your opinion of it. Nothing reaches you. It all stands outside, inert. You create your opinions, imprint them on yourself. It's in your power not to imprint them. If they slip in, you can erase them. Remember, this vigilance won't last long. Soon your life ends. What's stopping you from doing well? If these things are natural, welcome them, they're for you. If unnatural, find what is *natural for you and go after it. Whatever gets you there. No one should criticize you for pursuing your good. Meditation 16. For everything, where did it come from? What's it made of? What's it turning into? What will it be after transformation? And that this change can't harm it. As for others' stupidity or malice, so it doesn't trouble you. First, what's my relationship to them? We're made for one another. Or from another angle, I was born to lead them, like a ram leads sheep, a bull leads cattle. Start from first principles. If not atoms, then a governing nature exists. If a governing nature, then lower things serve higher ones, and higher ones serve each other. Second, what kind of people are they? At table, in bed, everywhere. Especially what their opinions force them to do, the pride they do it with. Third, if they're acting rightly, don't be upset. If wrongly, they're doing it involuntarily from ignorance. No soul errs willingly, Plato. They're hurt when called unjust, greedy, inconsiderate, or generally harmful to their neighbors. Fourth, you make plenty of mistakes yourself. Even if you avoid certain acts, you're still disposed to them, restrained only by fear, vanity, or some equally weak motive. Fifth, you don't even know for sure they're doing wrong. Actions often serve hidden strategies. You'd need to know many things before judging someone's actions accurately. Sixth, when you're really upset, remember, human life is momentary. Soon we're all in our grave. Seventh, it's not their actions that disturb us. Those exist only in their minds. It's our judgment about those actions. Remove that judgment. Decide to stop seeing it as terrible, and anger dissolves. Remove it how? By recognizing nothing shameful here. If shame were the only real evil, you'd be driven to do wrong constantly, thieving, anything to get what you want. Eighth, anger and grief cause far more damage than the things we're angry about. Ninth, kindness is invincible if it's genuine, not sarcastic or fake. How can even the most vicious person resist if you remain kind and gentle, and at the very moment they're doing wrong, you calmly instruct them? Son, we weren't made for this. I won't be hurt. You're hurting yourself. Show them gently but firmly. Make the point general. Even bees and social animals don't act this way. Not sarcastically, not as a lecture, but gently with no bitterness. Not as a performance for bystanders, but as if you were alone, even with others present. Remember these 9 points, gifts from the muses. Start becoming a real human being while you're still alive. Equally important, avoid flattering them. Both are uncharitable, both harmful. When angry, remember, anger isn't manly. Gentleness and civility are more human and stronger. They have vigor. Anger and complaint are weak, cowardly, surrendering to emotion. The closer to absence of passion, the closer to power. Grief is weakness. So is anger. Both are wounds, surrenders. 10th bonus from Hercules, leader of the Muses. Expecting a world without bad people is insane. Impossible. To tolerate bad people existing, but not tolerate their wronging you is arrogant, tyrannical. Meditation 17. 4 dangerous tendencies to watch for. 1. Unnecessary thoughts. Wipe them out. 2. Antisocial impulses. Uncharitable. 3. Speaking as someone else's puppet. Absurd, mindless. 4. Self-reproach. Your divine part submitting to the ignoble part, your body and its crude desires. Meditation 18. The fire and air in you naturally rise, yet they submit to the world's structure and remain in your composite body. The earth and water in you naturally fall, yet rise and hold position against their nature. Even the elements obey the whole, staying in unnatural positions until released. Isn't it terrible that only your rational part rebels? Nothing against its nature is demanded, only what fits its nature, yet it won't comply. When disobedient, it moves contrary to itself. Any movement toward injustice, self-indulgence, anger, grief, or fear is a desertion. When the mind complains about events, divine providence, it abandons its position. It was created for reverence and piety, which require humble submission to God in all things, also for justice. These two are duties of social beings, indeed, the foundation of just action. Meditation 19. Without a single, constant purpose throughout life, you can't be consistent. But that's not enough. You must also define that purpose, not based on common notions of good, most of which lack real justification. Only the common good, what benefits the community. Direct your actions there. Then all your actions will be consistent. You'll be the same person always. Meditation 20. The city mouse and the country mouse, the terror the country mouse felt. Meditation 21. Socrates called popular beliefs bogeymen, things to scare children. Meditation 22. Spartans at public events gave shaded seats to visitors. They sat anywhere. Meditation 23. Socrates explaining to Perdiccas why he wouldn't visit. I don't want to die the worst kind of death, unable to return a favor. Meditation 24. The Ephesian mysteries included this instruction. Keep one of the ancient whys always in mind. Meditation 25. Pythagoreans looked at the sky first thing each morning to remember the heavenly bodies that always perform their task consistently, orderly, pure, naked. No star wears a veil. Meditation 26. Socrates, when Xanthippe took his cloak and left with it, how he looked wrapped in a skin, what he said to embarrassed friends who started to leave. Meditation 27. In reading and writing, you need instruction before you can do either, much more so in living. You're born a slave to your senses and animal impulses, lacking true knowledge and sound judgment. Meditation 28. My heart laughed within me. They'll condemn virtue itself with vicious slander. Meditation 29. People who want figs in winter are like people longing for children before they're born. Meditation 30. When you kiss your child, Epictetus said, whisper, tomorrow you may die. Ominous words. Not ominous, he said, just describing a natural process, no more ominous than saying the grapes will be harvested. Green grapes, ripe grapes, raisins, transformations of one thing, not into non-existence, but into not yet existence. Meditation 31. No thief can steal your free will. Also from Epictetus, we need a method for giving or withholding assent, for paying careful attention to our impulses, qualified, unselfish, proportionate to actual value. Suspend intense desire entirely. Resist only what's entirely in our power. This isn't about trivial matters, he said. It's about sanity or madness. Meditation 32. Socrates, what do you want? Rational souls or irrational ones? Rational. Healthy ones or sick ones? Healthy. Then why not pursue that? We already have it. Then why the fighting? Book 12. Meditation 1. Everything you could ever want, you can have right now, if you can do without denying it to yourself. How? By forgetting the past, by leaving the future to providence, by devoting the present to reverence and justice. Reverence, embracing what universal nature assigns, what she's assigned to you, what she's assigned you to. Justice, speaking the truth plainly and without evasion, acting justly and deliberately. Let nothing stop you, not other people's misdeeds, opinions, words, not even the sensations of this pampered flesh. Let the affected part deal with that. When the time comes to leave, abandon everything else readily. Respect only your mind and the divine within you, not fearing that someday you'll stop living, but that you never started living naturally. Then you'll be worthy of the world you came from, no longer a stranger in your own community, no longer shocked by daily events as if they were unforeseeable, no longer dependent on things outside your control. Meditation 2. God sees our minds, stripped of material containers, husks, impurities. His pure intelligence contacts the intelligence that flowed from him into us. If you can do the same, you'll free yourself of much that weighs you down. Someone who doesn't notice the body won't waste time on fine clothes, houses, celebrity, and the other props. 3 components: body, breath, mind. The first 2 are yours only insofar as you must care for them. The third alone is truly yours. So if you can separate yourself, your mind, from what other people do or say, from what you've done or said, from worrying about the future, from what affects your body and what naturally happens to it, and from whatever in the whirling chaos outside you sweeps past, if you can separate yourself from that and keep your mind independent, pure, free from entanglements, focusing on the present moment, doing what's right, accepting what happens, speaking the truth, if you can separate your mind from what clings to it emotionally and from the past and future, and make yourself like Empedocles' perfect sphere, rejoicing in its own stability, living only for the present, then you can spend the time you have left tranquil, nobly. Meditation 3. I've often wondered, everyone loves themselves most, yet values others' opinions of them more than their own. If a god or wise teacher stood beside us and forbade us from thinking anything we wouldn't immediately say aloud, we couldn't stand it for a day. We care more what our neighbors think than what we think. Meditation 4. How is it that the gods arranged everything else so well and lovingly, but overlooked this? Some very good people, people who have made many agreements with God through their devotions, once dead are gone forever, never restored to life. But you can be sure, if it should have been otherwise, it would be. If it were right, it would be possible. Nature would allow it. The fact that it's not shows it shouldn't be. You see yourself, in considering this, how you argue freely with God. We wouldn't be arguing like this if the gods weren't perfectly good and just. And if they're good and just, they couldn't have overlooked something unjust or unreasonable in creation. Meditation 5. Practice even things you despair of mastering. The left hand is clumsy at most things from lack of practice, but it holds the reins better than the right from practice. Meditation 6. Meditate often on these things. What we should be, body and soul, when death comes. The shortness of life. The abyss of time, before and after. The fragility of matter. All this stripped of pretense, undisguised. Also consider the causes behind things, the purpose of actions, what pain is, what pleasure is, what death is, what fame is. How no one harms anyone else, that everything is judgment. As for applying principles, like a boxer, not a gladiator, the gladiator's weapon can be knocked away, he's finished. But the boxer always has his fists, he just needs to clench them. Meditation 7. See things for what they are, matter, form, purpose. Meditation 8. What a power humans have been given, to do nothing except what God will approve, and accept everything God sends. Meditation 9. Whatever happens in the ordinary course of nature, neither the gods, for they can't do wrong, wittingly or unwittingly, nor humans who act wrongly through ignorance, involuntarily, are to blame. So blame no one. Meditation 10. How absurd to be surprised by anything that happens in life. Meditation 11. Either fate, inevitable, unalterable necessity, or benign providence, or chaos, randomness, no direction. If inevitable necessity, why resist? If benign providence, make yourself worthy of its help. If chaos, no guiding principle, then celebrate. In this swirl of confusion, you have a mind to guide yourself. If you're swept away by the flood, it's your body, maybe. Your life, your possessions, not your mind. Otherwise, the candle's light would go out before the flame. Should truth, justice, self-control expire while you still exist? Meditation 12. When you think someone's done wrong, ask, do I know for certain this is wrong? But even if it is, they've judged themselves already, like someone scratching their own face. Pitiful, not infuriating. To want bad people not to do bad things is like wanting fig trees not to produce figs, babies not to cry, horses not to neigh. Inevitable, given what they are. If you're so smart and capable, fix it. Meditation 13. If it's not right, don't do it. If it's not true, don't say it. Let your intentions be unconstrained. Meditation 14. For everything that presents itself, examine its nature, its material, its purpose, its duration. Meditation 15. Understand, something in you is better, more divine, than what drives your passions and jerks you like a puppet. What occupies my thoughts now? Fear, jealousy, desire. Meditation 16. First, don't act without purpose. Second, make the common good your only purpose. Soon you won't exist, nor will anyone now alive. Everything's designed to change, transform, vanish, so new things can follow. Meditation 17. Remember, everything is judgment. Remove it, like a ship reaching calm harbor, and everything's still, steady, safe. A sheltered bay where no storm can reach. Meditation 18. When an activity, any activity, ends, it's not harmed by stopping, nor is the person whose action comes to an end harmed by the fact that it's over. So too with life, the sum of all our actions. If it ends, it's not harmed simply by ending, nor is the person whose life's work is complete harmed by its completion. The end point is determined by nature, sometimes individual nature, dying of old age, but always by universal nature, its parts constantly changing, the world staying perpetually new. What serves the whole is always good and timely. Death can't be bad for anyone because it's not shameful, nothing we choose or oppose to the common good. It serves the whole, is good for the whole, brought by and compatible with the divine. Someone moved by God, whose will aligns with God's will, is moved by God, truly inspired. Meditation 19. Keep 3 things ready. First, do nothing thoughtlessly or otherwise than justice requires. What happens externally, either by chance or providence, blame neither. Second, what bodies are before conception and after death, what they're made of, what they dissolve into. Third, how things look from above, human activities, their changeability, considering infinite time before and after, how brief everything is, how the same things recur endlessly, the same brevity. What we're so puffed up about. Meditation 20. Discard your opinion and you're saved. What's stopping you from discarding it? When upset, remember, this happens according to nature. It concerns only the wrongdoer. What's happening now has happened always and will happen always. Happens everywhere. How closely all people are linked, not by blood or birth, but by shared intelligence. Each mind shares in divinity, flows from it. Nothing truly belongs to anyone, not children, body, life itself. All flows from the source. Everything is opinion. We live only in the present moment. No one loses more than that. Meditation 21. Think constantly about people overcome by rage over something, people at the height of glory or disaster, hatred and enmity. Whatever became of all that, smoke and ashes, stories, maybe not even stories. Think of examples: Fabius Catilinus in the country, Lucius Lupus, Stertinius at Bay, Tiberius at Capri, Velius Rufus, all examples of obsessive striving after worldly things. How trivial the objects of such intense effort, how much more philosophical to act justly and moderately in whatever presents itself, following the gods without fuss. Pride in not being proud is the worst kind of pride. Meditation 22. To people who ask, where have you seen the gods? How do you know they exist, that you worship them so devoutly? First, they're visible even to the eye, in a sense. Second, I've never seen my own soul, yet I honor it. Same with the gods. I experience their power daily, toward myself and others. I know they exist. I worship them. Meditation 23. The secret of happiness. Know each thing's true nature, its substance, its purpose. Justice in every act, truth in every word. What's left but to live it, linking one good action to another, continuously, never broken by even the smallest gap. Meditation 24. One light of the sun, though divided by walls, mountains, obstacles. One substance in the world, though distributed through countless bodies. One soul, though divided into numberless individual natures. One intelligent soul, though seemingly divided. Other parts of these wholes, breath, matter, have no consciousness, no connection to each other. But every rational mind connects to its kind, seeks unity. Meditation 25. What do you want to keep existing, to have sensations, growth and decay, to use your voice, your mind? Which of these seems worth having? If they all seem trivial, focus on the last, following God and reason. But don't resent that death will end them. That contradicts both God and reason. Meditation 26. What a tiny fragment of infinite time we're given. It vanishes instantly into eternity. Our share of matter, our share of soul. The small clod of earth we crawl on. Keep all this in mind. Nothing matters except doing what your nature requires, accepting what universal nature provides. Meditation 27. How is my mind? Everything depends on that. Everything else, outside my will, is dead matter, smoke. Meditation 28. This spurs contempt for death. Even people who thought pleasure was good and pain evil still despised death. Can death terrify someone who sees good only in what's timely, by nature's standards? Who finds equal value, whether their good actions are many or few, whether they view the world's sameness for decades or moments? Human, you've lived as a citizen of this great world city. 5 years or 50, what's the difference? The laws treat everyone equally. What's terrible about being dismissed, not by a tyrant or corrupt judge, but by the same nature that enrolled you? Like a magistrate dismissing an actor. But I've only done 3 acts. The play's not over. True, your 3 acts are the whole play. Completion is determined by the one who caused your beginning and now your dissolution. You have nothing to do with either. Go in peace. The one dismissing you is at peace.